Hello, hello. How's my people doing? Oh, crap. I literally always do that. Can you guys hear me? I always forget to plug in my microphone. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I'm sorry, Amy. I don't really feel good either. I feel like I'm trying to get sick of my throat's a little sore. 'Tis the season for that, though, right? Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, Lori. Who do we have all here? Seven to Life, Moon, Georgette, Lori, Iris, Tooth Fairy, Star, June, Yes, You Rang, Little Bear, Teresa, Navy Vet, Mary T, Teddy Bear, Shelly, Tina, Mel, Deborah, Angel Butterfly, Teresa, What's at Me, Amy, Teresa, Lori, June. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Everybody have a good Valentine's Day? I had to work. The kids had a 2-hour delay, and because it snowed, the public school kids, they didn't have school, but our school had a 2-hour delay. So thank you, Moon. I have to say the mods are absolutely fantastic here. They really are. We try to make everybody feel welcomed and safe and just chill. Let's see here. Oh, no. First one alone in 25 years. I'm rocking it. I'm sending it with my granddog. You're not alone, Deborah. You're right here with us. Happy Valentine's Day. Let's see here. All right. So it was a day of love. It is a day of love, but it's also a day for autopsy reports. How romantic, right? How romantic. So I wanted to do a few key takeaway points from the Brian Laundrie case. And yeah, and then I'll just open panel and we'll go from there. Really, I don't have really a lot planned. I've looked at the autopsy report. It is detailed, but I think for most people, they just want to know the main things. They don't care how much someone's liver weighed per se. I'm just saying, especially Brian's. So, yeah. Darn it. Hi, Justin. I miss anything? No, coexist. You did not. And we haven't talked yet. We got to talk. I forgot about that yesterday. So, do you have my number, coexist? Yes, guys. If you guys will smash that like button, it really, really helps me out. I would greatly appreciate it. Oh, you are Jersey. So, let's go over. Oops, I'm pressing the wrong button. Let's look it up. Oh my god. I hope. Shit. My computer just literally froze. I hope I don't get booted out. Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that. StreamYards loves to kick creators off when you pay money for good services too, right? Oh well. Okay, let's try this again. And if I get kicked off, I'm gonna be really mad at StreamYards. I'm back. Oops, I need to fix this. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Oops, wrong one. Wrong one. It's the day of love. Come on, StreamYards, love me. Yes, you're back. Happy dance. Oh, that's very sweet. All right. So I'm gonna tell you guys the key takeaways from the, if you guys want, I can show you the regular, not the regular, the report itself if you would like. But The morning of October 20th, 2021, human skeletal remains were found in Carlton Reserve, north of the Myahatchee Creek Environmental Park in Northport. Search grounds found a backpack and shoes that belongs to Brian Laundrie in the same area as the skeletal remains. The search area had been previously under about 3 feet of water and indicated by a water line and surrounding trees. Such area divided by main and secondary scene. I will tell you in the report, it tells you that they made this into 3 different sections that they pulled. They what's the word I'm looking for? They set it off into 3 different sections to find the remains. They did take the soil out in those areas as well. They sifted them with 5-gallon buckets as well. And they also, doing so, they did get some more bone fragments, mainly skull fragments. The report did say they had to dig down, I believe the report said, as much as 6 inches. So, they did find a pair of green shorts with a green belt, 2 slip-on shoes, a backpack containing a tent, and flares. We know all about flares because Donald Wells shot them at us. They also found a white metal ring and a revolver found at the main scene. In the report, it says that the gun was very rusted from being underwater for so long. Skeletal animal remains, handwritten half note, and a hat with the logo MOAB Coffee Roasters. Hey, good advertisement for that coffee company. They found that at the secondary scene. Yes, they did find that at the secondary scene. A dry bag was found that contained a journal, a wooden box, and a small notebook and photos inside, one of which was a picture of Brian Laundrie. So did Brian... Okay, guys, tell me, do you think that he put a picture of himself in there because he loved himself, or because maybe it would help identify him? What do you guys think? I would like to know your opinion in the chat about that. You think so, Lisa? You guys think so? Yeah. To make it, I guess, just easier. Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. Dr. Nancy Havens positively identified human remains as 23-year-old Brian Laundrie, though the comparison of antemortems, I can't say that word, dental radiographs, and detention to known dental records remains later confirmed through DNA analysis as those of Laundrie. Cranial fragmentation and further analysis of skeletal remains, the vast majority of skeletal had been removed or recovered, confirmed Laundrie's death. The cause of death was a gunshot wound to the head. His manner of death was suicide, shot himself with a handgun. Evidence found of animals, including feral dogs and coyotes, as well as rodents and raccoons, having consumed and gnawed on Laundrie's remains. That was probably one of the biggest wows that I had saw in the report. But this is a swamp. Things are going to eat what dies. It's part of nature. Yes. All things could have been prevented if the dirty. Exactly, Kitty May. I agree with that. So, here's the medical examiner report. Let me go back to my thing and get me off the screen. Okay. All right. Okay, Brian Christopher Laundrie, found October 20th, 2021. It's got the medical examiner and all that. Let me see here. I think that the parents knew exactly where Brian was, and I think they finally got worried. Yes, Teresa. I think the parents got worried and they were just more or less, hell, let's get this over with because he's probably dead. Because I don't know. But I think they should be charged. I feel like if there's no other justice, that can be at least some justice. He took the easy way out for him. Okay. Okay. At 1700 hours, same date, Chief Investigator Andreas, Investigator Caverner, Investigator Loveridge, and I arrived on scene. We were transported to the location of the apparent human remains. Upon arrival, we met with Carrie Harvey, team leader of the FBI evidence response team, who walked us through the scene. Team leader Harvey informed us that the search area was previously under 3 feet of water, which was indicated by the water line up on the surrounding trees. The search area was divided into the main scene and the secondary scene. Both scenes were marked with orange flags that indicated apparent human and or animal remains, and red flags both indicated personal effects. I photographed the scene and I observed with a Nikon digital camera. At 1730 hours, same date, Dr. Vega and Dr. Brassard arrived on scene and examined the skeletal remains. Please refer to Dr. Brassard report for further details. The scene was north of the Myahatchee Creek Environmental Park within the Carlton Reserve and west of the South Slough Canal. Is that Slough? The scene included trees and overgrown vegetation that had total exposure to the outside elements. A winding walking and vehicular trail in a northeast direction up to and through the scene. The skeletal remains and personal effects were in plain sight and scattered up on the dirt on the ground. The main scene contained human remains that included a right and left scapula, a right humerus, and a left and right femur, two tibulas, uh, two fibulas, two clavicas, two pelvis, one right ulna, one where am I? One right radius, multiple ribs, multiple skull fragments, along with the maxilla and the mandible, and approximately 25 vertebrate. Dr. Burris confirmed the remains of the human. Okay. At 2,000 hours, same day, personal of the direct. That's not the part I wanted to find, though. I was wanting to show you guys. I'm looking for the does anyone know where the actual longitude, latitude of where he was found at? I was going to pull it up on Google Maps. I don't remember where it is. I just wanted to see exactly where. Okay. They cleared the scene on October 22nd. Rogers, please refer to Dr. Okay. So on November 11, 2021, 10:30 hours at the request of the FBI personnel, two sections of femur bone, this is very important, and a tooth, a molar, were retained for DNA analysis. Oh shit. I literally just clicked the wrong freaking thing. I just screwed it up. Okay, no I didn't. Sorry. Where did that go? Okay. Two sections of femur bone and a tooth molar were retained for DNA analysis. They were transported to the Pinellas County Forensic Laboratory and delivered by myself at 10:55 hours. So they did the DNA by femur and by molar. On November 19, 2021 at 13:13 hours, I received a laboratory report DNA analysis via electronic email from Tina Jadzaminski from the Pinellas County Forensic Laboratory. The notification was confirmation on the identifying of the human skeletal remains on the case. The remains were identified as 23-year-old white male Brian Christopher Laundrie, date of birth November 18th, 1997. God, he's so young. Happy Valentine's Day, Buckeye Mama. The notification was signed by Beth, the DNA analyst. The above information was immediately provided by Dr. Vega and Dr. Bassard for further review. On November 22nd, 2021 at 0940 hours, I conducted lead agent Bush and discussed the deceased, or sorry, the descendants' positive identification through decedents. Sorry, God. Positive identification through DNA analysis. At 1200 hours, same day, I contacted Detective Keller and discussed the decedents' positive identification through DNA analysis. On November 23rd, 2021, 1250 hours, I contacted the decedent's parents, Christopher and Roberta Laundrie, and discuss the son's death certificate certification. Okay. Okay. Here's the latitude and longitude. 27.127.698 north. And the longitude is minus 82.192.652 W. All right. In chat. Okay. The Northport police contacted on-call investigation Ron Busby at 0930 hours on October 20th, indicating that they believe that the remains of the missing individual, Brian Christopher Laundrie, had been found in the area where searchers had been initiated several weeks prior. Reportedly, in the morning hours, Northport Police Department had groups of personnel that discovered bones and personal belongings consistent of Brian C. Laundrie. The FBI investigated evidence response team, along with cadaver dogs and other search groups, were continuing to lay in the area where the remains were found. Our assistance were not requested at the point. Later in the day, 1605 hours, investigator Boosby was contacted to request our response to the scene. The remains were reportedly located at this latitude, longitude, inside the Carlton Reserve. We were told to meet at the Myahatchee Creek Environmental Park. Marissa was so close to Brian. That's so eerie to think about. Do you guys remember that video when she was at the park? Let's see here. Okay, scene impressions. The remainder of the skeletal remains are inventoried by the FBI, packaged as evidence, released to the medical examiner, and transported back to the Myahatchee Creek Environmental Park area. From the park staging area, packaged bags from scene day 2, which were confirmed as animal remains, are transported to the Sarasota Medical Examiner facility by Bursota Services for further examination. The scene is consistent with skeletal remains of a single individual that appears to be consistent with a moderately young male. The cranial fragmentation and presence of a handgun are consistent with a gunshot injury in the head. Okay, and they're going to do a cranial examination and reconstruction will be performed to identify potential specific gunshots evidence. All non-human remains evidence is collected by the FBI for further workup evaluation. I cleared the scene at 7:45 from the park entrance. Okay. Scattered remains, bones without soft tissue, most of the post-mortem scavenging carnivore activity, near complete skeleton. Did the animals die too? Yeah, Kathy, I would love to read that notebook too. Did the animals drown? Or did they die from eating brine? Ugh, you imagine. He's so evil. General description. So this is the general description. The skeletal remains are consistent of a young adult male. The vast majority of the skeleton had been recovered. The level of the skeletonization is generally complete, but for minimal areas of like white sheen on some of the vertebrates. No soft tissue remains, but for minimal, partially calcified coastal cartilage, and the aspects of some of the lower ribs, multiple long bones included, bones of the arms and legs all disclose carnivore predation activity characterized by, listen to this. This is what I wanted. Gnawing and chewing. Mostly on the distal ends of the long bones. The cranium is in multiple pieces and fragments, as will be described below. Most of the bones have dark discoloration consistent with dark soil material where the bones were recovered. And this is the skeletal inventory. They basically got all of him. He had no foreign body parts like a pacemaker or anything in it. All right. In summary, extensive fracturing included and let's see, your linear and fractures and associated with cranial fragmentation is consistent with gunshot wounds trauma. Evidence of a single performing gunshot wound entering the left temporal cranium and exiting the right middle inferior cranium just above the temporal bone is identified. So the fracture was 5 centimeters from the entrance, a 19 centimeter linear fracture from the upper left bone, the left bone across the coronal structure and ends in the. Okay. Where do I get me back at? Okay. Do you guys think that the letter will ever be released? And or do you think Roberta and her husband, what's his name? I can't even think right now. I'm so stuffy right now, guys. I can't really talk. Do you think that they would sell the letter to the media? Because nothing would surprise me with these people. Oh. So they basically found 50.5%. 50.05, yeah. Well, listen, that's a good question. Do you think Gabby's family knows what the letter says? What do you guys think about that? Do you think that what about the $20,000 he had been checking? You think they do? I think they deserve to know. I think they deserve justice. I think that the Laundries should be in jail. At the least, my opinion is they should have to pay for every single bit of what the taxpayers had to pay for that search when they found that kid, that man, in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. I forget how much they said per day it was. They were searching everywhere. And the pain and everything that they caused. Lori. Hey, Lori.
Hey, Justin.
What are you doing?
Putting my mic in right now. And chilling. Listening to you.
Oh, God. I'm stuffy. I'm getting sick.
I
think.
hear it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Joy
I'm
to
so
the world.
sorry.
My kids are a little stuffy
Gosh.
right now, so.
Oh, I hope it's not the C word again.
Oh, my God. I mean, it's only been since right before Christmas. It couldn't be, could it?
Yeah. Well,
Could it
with
be?
this thing, we don't know. We don't know with this thing.
God.
It's acting so funky.
Yeah.
I don't know. My son just got over it, and knock on wood, and thanks be to God I didn't get it. So, and
Wow,
we
you're
live,
lucky. You're
yeah,
lucky.
we live in the same household. So he's 25. So yeah, I got really lucky.
Wow.
But yeah, I just hope it's not.
Yes, I should have a lot of antibodies because not only did I have it, but I also have vaccines.
Right, I do too. So
But it doesn't stop anything. That's what,
no.
that's a good question, Mel. That was what my next point I was thinking about asking was, can the laundries profit from this? I know a criminal can't profit off their deeds. Not sure if this applies to the family too. I don't
I
think
don't
there's
know
anything.
about go ahead.
Nope, go ahead. Good Lord.
I don't think that I mean maybe in the future writing a book, but honestly I think they're too narcissistic to want any information out. Like anything that has to do with his guilt. I think that's why they wanted the notebook so bad.
Yes.
I think they're embarrassed. That's my
Yeah.
opinion.
I think if they
But
get the
also,
right deal, then they'll talk at a later point.
yes. Hey, Tina, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How's little
Good.
Snuffleupagus there?
I'm snuffling.
Little Snuffles. No, I
Oh,
think if
God.
they're offered a good deal, then they will give. Yeah, I think they'll give their version if they get the right deal at a later time.
Yeah, well, I would think that, after this, it probably hurt their ice cream business. Don't you think?
Right. Yep, I think so too.
So that probably really hurt. But they're in other business as well, aren't they? Aren't they
Oh, I don't
don't
know
they
that.
have
I
another
only
Juicing
business?
business, wasn't it? Juicing, and they have properties. They did
Yeah.
have properties, but I think they sold some of them.
I heard that. I remember hearing that.
Yes. It was real estate.
Yeah.
Coexist. I have the Zycam spray, and I'm using it.
Poor thing.
Just life.
I think I put in the
Yeah.
comments before the only good
Maybe it
thing
wasn't an
to
ice
come
cream.
out
It
of
was
it
was it an ice cream store or was it a juice
is
business?
A
juice.
A
juicer,
juice.
juicer store. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Big
Okay.
juice has got more juice than I have now.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I'm surprised they haven't moved. Aren't
Yeah,
you?
right?
I mean, there's
Yeah.
no way in heck I would want to stay there.
I
What is that?
know.
It's like his sister hasn't spoke either, has she, since? I think somebody
N-
put that in the comments before.
No, I figured, something like Diane Sawyer or something would try to get an interview with him and get him to talk. But maybe they don't want to talk, or maybe ABC or any of them doesn't want to talk to them, Who knows?
Yeah.
Robin,
Hey guys.
how are
Hey,
you,
Robin.
dear?
Hi Lori.
Hi,
Hi Tina.
Robin.
I heard ice cream and I had to jump up here.
Hi.
You heard ice cream?
Remember,
Yum.
were you there, Justin, yesterday with the ice cream truck?
Yes.
And when we were talking about
God,
the ice cream truck, and then a few minutes later, the ice cream truck came by. I was like, no way.
Mhm.
I
But
love the
anyway,
ice cream truck.
yeah, I just want to know what is in that notebook.
That's what everybody wants to know. And it feels like we still haven't
Mhm.
got all the answers. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
It still feels that way.
And I just can't believe that they spent all those hours and all that all that manhunt and the dogs and everything. And listen, the parents didn't find him. The parents knew exactly where he was.
Absolutely.
It was
That was
like
the weird part,
they
how they
walked
just went right to him.
right.
Mm.
They walked right to him.
Like
So
within 30 minutes of being there.
yeah,
When it
Yeah.
took over 30 days of them searching in
And
that.
all the people, including what's his name? Dog and all that with his
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
they walked right to him basically.
yeah.
I
So I just there's so much that and this is just my opinion. There's so much that I don't believe. I don't, like I feel deceived by a lot of this. And I don't know if it's because of the laundries themselves or
think it's
exactly
because of
what
the
it is,
laundries.
but I just feel like I feel like there's so much deception behind all of this.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
It's
so
hard
too.
not to be
There's a lot of
cynical as
mistakes
well.
too.
After the way that the case was done, yeah, all the mistakes, and now we're given a version of the truth, but it's their version,
Mhm.
it's a version given to us. And it's like, are we to accept everything? Are we not? I mean, I
that's
guess
an
the important thing is
interesting.
how Gabby's family feel, but it's like, how much do we actually believe of what is spoon fed to us?
Yeah, and I don't
Yes.
think the cops are going to be like, okay, so we messed up here and we messed up over here.
No,
They're
Mm.
that's
not going to
never
release
going to
that.
happen.
Yeah, you got to
Yes.
dig to find their
Well,
mess ups.
well, they made themselves look like asses, the Northport police, when they said that they thought that Roberta was Brian, or yeah,
Oh, no.
like how dumb do they look saying that?
I mean,
I
they
don't
had
know.
cameras. Did you see the cameras that was attached to like the neighbors' backyards?
Yeah,
That was such a blunder letting him get away from that house.
Yep.
Mm.
That is such a blunder. Like, and them saying, no, he's at that house. We know exactly where he is. And then millions of taxpayer dollars when they could have paid a cop to follow him wherever he went, even if it wasn't at the
Right.
house. So,
They didn't have an eye on him when they told everybody
I
that
mean, the
they
only good
did.
thing to
And
come out of it, yeah.
anytime coexist. And it was just Gabby was just failed one thing after another.
right. From the
yeah.
stop, when they stopped them in the beginning, and you could tell in that body cam when you watch it, she was frightened, but she was trying to cover it.
Was
Like,
the body cam from the female officer released at all, ever?
What was that, Tina?
Sorry, I interrupted then. I said,
No,
was the
I
body
didn't think.
footage, body cam of the female officer ever released?
Yes.
The
When they were
It
in
was
Moab.
it? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was
right.
several different looks at it. I watched it. It was pretty much the same thing, just from a different angle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I want to know why. Like what made Brian snap? You know what I mean? Like did did Gabby find something on his phone, or was it just building up and building up and building up?
This was building up. He was extremely jealous of her. Her friend, a really close friend of her, discussed how she told him she was going to go have a girls' night out, and he didn't want her to do it. Of course, jealousy guys, they're not going to want you to go out with anybody, girls or whatever. He was jealous, and so he took her driver's license out of her purse. She didn't realize it until she got halfway there. She called her friend and she's like, "Oh my God, I don't have my driver's license." And it caused a big fight between her and Brian later on. She stayed at the friend's house. The friend also discussed at least 8 to 10 times that Gabby would come to her house to escape him. And
Is
so
that
this was all building up.
Lori, is that the friend that lives up here by me?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I think it was I think Brian knew he wasn't good enough
Right.
for her, and I think he never thought he could get there no matter how hard he tried. There was just a level difference, you know what I mean? And I hate
Mm-hmm.
to say it that way, but Gabby, she was just too bright, too much of a social
Beautiful.
butterfly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Beautiful, talented. She could, the world was her oyster, it really was.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian, he's, very backwards, very angry, very jealous, very,
Right.
he's just very
I'm almost
He
intimidating.
sounds
positive
insecure
he was a
as well.
narcissist. I mean, he's got so many of the signs and symptoms of being in that type of relationship for 7 years. He's
Uh-huh.
got like so many of those red flags. And also, the friend also said that if he didn't want her to do something, he would find a way to stop her from doing that. So
Yes.
that's control. And they're
That's
very
very
controlling.
sneaky. That's very
That's,
sneaky.
yep,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
To pull her ID out when she's on her way, you bring your wallet. You don't, when
You
you
don't
get your,
look at it.
you don't look
Yeah,
and see if, oh, my, my license is or my ID is in there.
right.
You just don't do that.
You know
Now,
who?
Do you
occasionally you'll
think
check
part
and
of
see
it?
if I got my debit card or whatever, but you don't, not your ID.
Yeah, I would have never thought of it. I
Yeah.
had girls'
Do you
nights
think part of
and
it could have been? Sorry,
No, go ahead, Tina.
no, I was going to say, do you think part of it might be medication? Is it true that he was on medication for his
that was
sort
never
of like mental
confirmed.
health? And if they were
No,
all right, I
this
was going
was
to say,
more
because
of
if
a
they were away and they
personality
hadn't had anything
disorder.
done,
This
right?
was more of a personality disorder. And from seeing how his parents reacted, I've been reading because my ex was very toxic. And I read a lot about narcissistic abuse. And they say that many men are toxic that way because of toxic mothers. And and there you
Oh,
go with
Right.
Roberta, how she handled it, how they had no feelings, no empathy for the Petitos. They didn't do anything to help them, except get a lawyer and told them to, and called the cops when uh, her dad went to their property saying like, "Where's Gabby?" They called the cops on him and the cops made him leave.
You know what, Lori? You're right on point because here's the thing. I know. You know who holds all the answers? Well, not all, but has a lot of insight to this. Roberta and Chris. Like
Yes.
I think
they know,
Roberta runs the roost.
but they know
Yes.
they know the insight and the dynamics of that relationship. Unfortunately, I don't think Gabby's family does.
Yeah, Roberta
Yeah,
certainly doesn't appear to be the loving, mothering kind, does she?
No.
No.
definitely
Hugs
not.
and
Definitely
no,
not.
it's
She
like there's
seems
no
very,
emotion or anything.
very cold, very callous, very premeditated, she seems to me. And she just does not seem maternal whatsoever at
Are we
all.
telling her about herself?
Yeah, exactly.
Molly was trying. She was doing
Molly,
it.
come back.
Yes.
The only positive, though, is I mean, Gabby has raised so much awareness now for domestic abuse, so much
Did he?
awareness for the missing.
Did
Like
Brian leave a
some,
note in the car?
I originally heard that, but I don't know if it was real or not. Like the police never produced that to show us. So unless somebody else knows for sure, but I remember it was a rumor, um, but nothing that we were shown. Tara
Right.
saying yes, he did.
Right.
So maybe
There's
she knows a little bit more.
so many rumors. Like it's
Yeah,
again
exactly.
hard
So
to
many
decipher
rumors.
from like exactly just like with law enforcement and these reports and this and that and the search for him and why they didn't find him again. So much deception of everything. I feel
Yes.
deceived by a lot of this. It's hard to like believe what's really real and what isn't. Even though
Yeah.
it's written, even though these people are FBI, law enforcement, or whatever, I don't know. Like these people do try and cover their butts as well. I mean, I'm not trying to make a conspiracy theory or anything like that. I'm just saying, like,
There's a
There's
lot of
so many
questions about
conspiracies. Yeah.
There's a lot of questions about was he right-handed, was he left? According to the sister, his sister, she said he was right-hand dominated. But the entrance wound was on the left side of the head.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm right-handed, but could I hold a gun to my head and pull the trigger on my left? Yes. Why would I do that? I don't know, because it would feel more secure and everything, so where I would, unless I was like not really sure about it and was hoping
Right.
it would like miss my head or whatever.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, I would use my dominant hand to point a gun or, so I don't know.
right.
Yeah. I
And
know
if
a lot of
you're
people are making a big deal out of that for
if,
sure.
if
Yeah.
you're accustomed to shooting left-handed, there's always that kickback from a gun. So even if you're, like if you're not accustomed to shooting left-handed, like how accurate are you going to be if you're right hand dominant and then you're holding it up to your head on the left? Like how accurate are you going to be like with that kickback? Think about it. Even though you're holding it, when you fire it, there is that kickback, depending on
Mm-hmm.
exactly where he. I mean, like, listen, I'm sitting here putting the finger to my head, trying to figure it out.
Don't,
Don't
don't do
fire.
I'm not pulling the thumb. I'm just putting the
that.
finger.
Pulling the thumb. Pull my finger. Pull my
Oh
finger.
gosh, no.
But you get what
Um,
I'm
So
saying, right?
dexterity wise, how much
Yeah,
pressure is needed on a trigger?
that's what I'm saying.
generally, I don't know what kind of gun was it? Was it a
It was a
38?
revolver. It said it was
Oh, it
an
was a revolver.
antique revolver.
So probably quite a
Right.
bit.
Yeah, exactly. My point.
Yeah.
You
Thank you,
have those
Ace.
kind of guns, you have to pull back the hammer and then shoot. And
Yeah.
it's just every time you
Right.
shoot, you have to pull back the hammer and shoot. So I
And
would be righty. I would feel more comfortable with my right hand. So that's odd.
Has anybody heard if Roberta and Chris is getting a divorce?
No, I didn't hear that.
There
I
was
don't
a
know.
rumor, but we don't know if that was purely rumor or not.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me because, you know, sadly, a lot of times when, you know, people go through this type of hardship, you know what I mean? And losing a child, it can create a lot of stress, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But they cause their life to be a lot more stressful with it.
Right. And also, you think of what the Petitos went in all those months of not being able to find Gabby.
Yes.
And you know what? And the Laundries put themselves in that same situation. So months they had to go by not knowing if their child was dead or alive. So
Yes.
they pretty much lived the hell that the Petitos were living because of their actions.
Oh, Tara says Bertolino's getting a divorce.
Bertolino. Who's Bertolino?
The lawyer.
The lawyer,
Oh. Huh.
he's an angry man too. Like just watching
Yeah.
him in interviews. I'm like, yikes. He's kind of like a, ooh.
Yeah, he pissed me off a lot of times.
He's
Yeah.
just
When he
really
did
bad.
that
Yeah.
interview with
Mary has
Ashley
just said it.
Banfield, he just really made me mad.
You know who else made me mad
Oh, he
was
was so rude.
the
Mary
spokesperson
said
for
in chat.
PD.
What's that, Lori?
The
Yeah.
spokesperson for PD, the PIO, he was a
Uh-huh.
nasty man too.
Yeah, yeah,
Getting
Taylor?
angry and yeah, I was like, oh, you need another PIO on this case.
yeah.
Is his last name Taylor?
Yes.
I can't think of his first name.
Josh Taylor, wasn't it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. He was
Mary commented in chat that it takes a 3 to 5 pound pull on that gun.
how many pound?
If that's
3 to 5.
3 to 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 to 5 pound on that. That was Mary. Thanks, Mary.
Hmm. What and I don't know.
At the end of the day, they're both still deceased. I
I
just
really feel like
still no justice.
I really feel
for them
I
to
mean,
be-
I believe he's deceased personally. I mean, I know Marissa doesn't believe he's deceased and all that, and everybody's entitled to their beliefs. I do think he's deceased. I think he did it pretty much just as soon as within a day or two of him being
His tent was
there.
never even pitched. So
Yeah,
even though it was in the back, yeah, I think it was the first day that he went out there sometime.
yeah,
He did it.
yeah.
And I
I think
always agreed with Marissa about him not being deceased. And I'm still not sure. Even though this report came out, now I'm kind of like on this fence. Again, feeling like I don't know what's, and this is just me,
right.
for me, not knowing like what is to believe and what isn't.
After hearing this, I believe that he's gone. It wasn't just a jaw they found. They found 103 bones. That's
Yeah.
half of him they found. They found his clothes. I mean, there was just so much that we didn't know about, which we would think that maybe it could be somebody else. But the fact that his clothes, a notebook, all that was around the body that we didn't know about, the revolver, that was all there. And DNA can, come from bones. And anthropologists and everybody that had in this case, I really believe he's gone.
Yeah. I guess, like I said, yeah, now that this comes out, I'm
There's
like,
quite a high number that don't believe it still. But
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
and the
everyone has
dentist.
their
Oh,
opinion, don't they,
sorry.
I guess?
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
The dentist. Remember, everybody was going around with the rumor that he was the uncle. The guy was
Yes.
not the uncle. Had no relation whatsoever to the Laundries or Brian.
Yeah. I mean,
Somebody
honestly,
just
even if
suggested
his
doing a poll. Someone in chat just
let's
suggested doing a poll as to whether or not they believe he's dead.
hi Heidi. I sent you a
By putting
text. I don't.
a 1 if he's dead
Just
and
read
a
it. I
2 if
just
you don't
woke
think
up.
he is.
I
Hey,
never slept.
Heidi.
Hi. I never slept last night because of my nerves.
You were worried.
what's
How did it
wrong?
go?
How'd it go? Yeah.
It went really well.
Good.
Better than I
Yes, I had a good
expected.
feeling.
How did
Yeah.
what
I
go?
had a good
I
feeling.
had my hearing today for my disability.
Oh, good.
So it looks very good.
I had a good feeling about this one. I don't know why. I just did.
I should know something in anywhere from a week to a month.
Good. That's good. When they tell you
Good.
that's good.
But yeah. Someone just said something. Has anybody heard anything from Karen? I don't know if you've discussed that yet or not.
No.
I got
No.
an updated text from her.
And
let's see. It's kind of a book.
Yeah, it was a long one.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Michael's oncologist came in today and wants to put his port in so they can start his chemotherapy. He also said that they cannot do the liver biopsy due to him bleeding because of the heparin, and they cannot take him off of the heparin nor his blood thinners. The oncologist said they know his cancer, they know where his cancer is coming. They know his cancer is coming from his colon and will treat it, not to worry. Also, infections disease came in. An infectious disease doctor came in and is doing blood work to double check to make sure that Michael's white blood count is up because of the cancer, not because there's an infection before they put the port in. If he has an infection and they put the port in, the infection would spread throughout his whole body. If it comes back that he has the infection, the port goes on hold until the infection is cleared up. The oncologist and infectious disease doctors said this happens with colon cancer infections. Both doctors said everything happening to Michael is what they call the perfect storm. Unfortunately, now all we can do is pray for Michael. Love you all.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't sound
It
good.
sounds like it's just a little bit more aggressive than what they had thought, because, at first they thought it was 5 years, and now they're saying, 6 months probably at
6
best.
months. Yeah.
And the
Well,
way
he
it's,
also had the blood clots that had to be removed out of his leg. So, there's a lot there too.
That's why
yeah.
they can't take him off the heparin.
Right.
I'm trying to find how to do the poll.
I don't know.
You could just do a simple one, Justin. You could do like, if everybody thinks this, put a 1, or if you think that.
Yeah, that's true. Press 1 if you think Brian Laundrie is El Dedo.
I love how you
And
put that.
press 2 if you think Brian Laundrie is still El Alivo.
I always thought he was dead, and I thought, there may be a slight possibility he might not be, but
I see 2s, and somebody said put a 3. Jennifer. Yeah.
with all the bones that they actually did find,
Yeah.
and everything like that, and why would the FBI or a police department let him go and say it wasn't him?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Who is he? Why is he any better than anybody else? It's not like he's freaking Michael Jackson or something,
Yeah, I mean, trust me.
Right.
I don't think Gabby's parents would be too happy about that. Hold on, I got to turn my heat on.
Well, I mean, after today, it's kind of like, well, I guess I have to go with the fact that, he's probably Albano, as Justin said, but I always thought he was still out here someplace.
No, Brian got gone.
I agree with you.
That's good, Heidi. I like that.
Brian got gone.
Yeah, I couldn't go to sleep last night either after being on Ziggy so late and laughing so much. And
oh my God, that was
then I had
hysterical.
to get myself, like I had to like put something boring on so I could like try to laugh.
Well, even I started dozing this morning, but I had this fear I wouldn't wake up when they called me,
Right.
I do the same thing.
and I didn't want to miss it because it was an over the phone hearing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're not. Well, he did state today that they are going to start doing it in person or again, but it's not until June. And I've already been waiting over 10 years, and I'm like, just get it
Wow.
over with today.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Wow.
What happened in Ziggy's last night? She was playing she was playing
It was
weird 911 calls and prank phone calls, and it was just hysterical.
Ziggy needed that.
My
She
butt
really
off.
needed that.
Oh,
Yeah, it
after
was-
the other night, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
you
talked to
know,
her today.
oops, sorry.
No, go
I just
ahead.
want to tell Heidi that when you are accepted, they have to pay you back from the day you applied.
Oh, I know.
It goes
Okay.
retro.
I just want to
Yeah.
make sure you knew that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. And I know it's gonna.
Yep.
Now they do it. They don't. They used to pay it back from like the actual like first time you applied, but now it's a little different. I don't think that some people they will pay back from like the very beginning, but some they calculate it a certain way.
My attorney said they were gonna go all the way back.
Good.
So
Yeah,
I'm
they
looking
do it
at over 10 years worth of benefits.
That's
Not
good.
to mention I had children young at home during that too.
Oh yeah.
And they're
Wow.
entitled to benefits as well.
Yep.
Wow.
But I don't get it all at once.
No.
I'll get it over.
You-
No, it's
you
not
know what,
only
Heidi?
2 years. I double checked with my attorney today. It's all the way back.
When I got mine, Heidi,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna want to reach through this thing and smack me. I got mine in 3 months.
You
From
got
the
yours
time-
what?
In 3 months from the time I submitted
Some
it. I had but this is back in like 2002. So I've been ill for a long time. So yeah, when I submitted it, I got a lawyer, and then I got a phone call 3 months later. The lawyer hadn't even done any work yet. I called the lawyer, and they're like, they didn't even charge me because they really hadn't done anything. So yeah, it was like
I didn't get a lawyer until my denial. Once I got a denial,
That's
yeah.
I did it by myself in the beginning, and I made some mistakes, and then I hired a really dumb company to help me, and they made it worse. But it's all good. I mean, even if they don't go all the way back, I don't care personally.
girl,
You know?
get as much as you can.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I know what you're saying. Get the benefits now. I know I understand what it's like. You know,
I don't think you have to pay taxes on that, do you?
I don't know.
No.
You know,
I didn't.
What they did to me, because I had a 401k because I had been working previously at a psychiatric hospital. That's where I used to work. And I had a 401k. And because I drew out my 401k, and so they had to take some of that money that I would have gotten away because I took that 401k. You get what I'm saying? So they penalized me, in other words, because I took my 401k out. But I had to live, so I had to.
Thank you, vet girl. You're so funny. She thought it was a whistle.
Hi, vet girl.
That is funny. But it went really well.
Thank
That's
you,
all
vet
I
girl.
care about.
Very
That's
kind.
good. It's good to hear.
My
Yeah.
my attorney even said that.
They make it so hard on people now, you know.
They do. It's a shame.
People
To
go
get it.
homeless because they
Oh,
yeah.
really can't work, and waiting this time, they end up on the streets.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
there's
There's
There's the other people who don't need it who get it quick. There's the other side of it too.
yeah, I didn't have a 401k and I haven't worked since 2009.
Hi Joe.
Yeah. I haven't worked since like 2001, 2002, something like that.
So
That damn psychiatric hospital I worked at.
I can imagine, Robin. That's a
Hey, I got hurt one time from an elderly man, a dementia patient. There was like this half wall for the geriatric unit, and I was unit secretary at the time, and I caught him crawling over the wall. So I kind of hopped up real quick and just went over to him, and I was like eased him over the wall,
Tara.
and I was going to guide him back over to where he was going. And he picked me up by my arm and shook me. I was a whole lot smaller then, and shook me like a rag doll. And I had a buckle fracture in my arm. Yeah, I had to go to the hospital and everything.
Wow.
Yep. It's a dangerous place.
does Karen getting hospice? Does anyone know?
Not right
Palliative
now.
care right now.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like the step up before hospice comes in. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. They
I'm
should
eating my Valentine's Day dinner.
oh.
What do you have?
McDonald's.
Oh,
I had
You-
Chipotle.
God, you guys are splurging on that Valentine's, aren't you?
Well, like I said, I never slept last night, and I really, didn't take my meds this morning because I didn't want to be drowsy. You can't be under the influence. And so after that, I waited to talk to my mom and my husband, and then after that, I fell asleep and I just woke up. So I'm not going anywhere. I've got a bad headache tube. One of those ones that's in the back of your neck.
yeah, those things suck. Yeah, I was hoping I texted the right number. I was hoping I texted the right person.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nun, I have been to Pike Place Market and I have had dinner on the Space Needle, yes. I've had the dinner on the
That's
Space
interesting.
Needle there, and I've had dinner on the Space Needle in San Antonio, and I've had on the Space Needle in Niagara Falls on Canada side.
Right.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it's an experience.
Inga's just put some good news in
Thank you,
chat
honey.
about an
Inga
elderly
did?
lady that was missing who's been found.
Inga,
Oh,
why don't I
really?
see Inga?
Which elderly? Which one? Which one we
It's
talking
found.
about?
Okay, here we go.
It's a lady in Oregon.
Announcement: there was an elderly woman here in Oregon, and she was found safe.
Oh,
Found safe, right?
Oh,
I'm
good.
hoping it was safe.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
Inga?
Inga, are you there?
We had spaghetti and meatballs and sauteed spinach tonight. Yummers.
I don't know what I'm having. Whenever I get up out of
Oh,
bed.
Lady and the Tramp.
Lady and the Tramp, yeah. I'm the tramp.
Yes, live.
Aw.
Oh,
That's good.
You can be
That
the
was good.
lady.
I see you more as the lady, Justin.
What's that?
I
Yeah.
see you more as the lady.
Well,
Inga said she's
probably.
alive.
But I've never been a husband.
Alive. Good. There is so many people going missing. There's so many kids going missing, guys. I look at the missing every day, and it's like,
We just had another one go missing today from here.
oh, really?
15-year-old runaway.
We have
Oh,
oh no.
Yep.
We have like 5 Hispanic women in Florida that have all gone missing within a few months of each other, and they all look alike. So I'm
That's-
scared that we have a serial killer.
Serial killer.
yes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
they,
nix
They're
that
all
me coming to
pretty.
see you.
well, what'd you say? What'd you say?
I said when I get down there, you can nix me going to see Lori.
Oh,
Well,
You
it's
can
not
come
even,
see
no, it's
me.
not even south where I am. It's up more in northern Florida, like
Oh,
all
well,
around there. Yeah, not
oh,
you
here.
know,
so close to me.
and sadly, Hispanic people of color don't get the same attention generally,
That's
I
right.
media
agree.
attention. I was I was noticing that the other day. I was like, there were so many Hispanic and people of color on there, and I was just like, wow. You
And
just
it's really sad is where I live, and that actually where I grew up on the Oneida not in the middle of it, but I was up the property around me was the Oneida Indian reservation. And there's a lot of reservations up here, and a lot of missing indigenous women and young girls are going missing, and nobody does anything.
nothing.
I
Nothing.
heard about that too. It's so friggin' sad.
Well,
Like you don't
look
even
at
see their
Canada.
picture up.
Look at Canada. I mean, they found all those indigenous graves and stuff. It's
Yeah,
just
Justin, I thought you were going to
crazy.
cover that little girl's story today. The little girl that's been missing for what 30 years. The little girl that got up out
She's
of her
22
bed.
years. She's been
22
yeah,
years.
Ashka or
yeah. I'm
I'm
waiting.
pretty sure.
I'm gonna wait on that because I'm probably getting the interview with the family.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
mean
oh,
to out anything.
No, it's okay.
I
No,
thought
it's
I
okay.
heard you were gonna,
I
you
should
know,
have addressed that anyways. Yeah, but
because today is
uh,
what the anniversary of it, or the
yeah,
parents' anniversary, or something.
it's the parents' anniversary and the anniversary of the little girl gone missing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
how awful.
And Heidi, whatever happened with the silver or the gold alert yesterday? Remember
I
that?
don't know.
What's a
Oh,
gold alert? I don't
yeah.
even know what it.
We were like,
It's basically a silver alert,
Okay.
but in Kentucky they call it a gold alert if they have like dementia, Alzheimer's, medical
Mental illness.
mental illness.
Hmm.
We had to Google that.
yeah, we had a lesson yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We have a missing case for over 40 something years. I really think a lot of these cases hopefully will be solved with familiar DNA. I hope so.
The DNA is huge now, and they're doing that. The picture of genealogy, like they'll have if they've never been arrested before, they don't have fingerprints. But usually, if they do a sexual assault, they'll get some DNA.
Yes.
But they were holding it for all this time, and now they're doing this thing where they can recreate the actual what the person looked like,
Yes.
and they're
Isn't that
catching these
crazy?
SOBs. Yep, yep.
Has anyone ever followed that Crystal Rogers case?
Boy, that sounds familiar.
I
It's
remind
been
us a little bit.
it's been on the news. It's been it's been all over.
Can you tell us a little bit about it? Like, was it?
I don't know where to start. Springfield, Oregon.
Uh-huh.
I think no. I'm just looking in chat. This girl, I believe it was her boyfriend and their child. It's been a while since I saw anything and my brain's not working today.
I know this
And
case. I just can't think
okay.
of it.
Yeah, she went missing and her boyfriend is like a major suspect in it. And the boyfriend's brother was a cop.
Inga.
Love ya.
I might
No,
be
you.
mixing it up with a different case. Hold on. I'll have to.
Okay.
I watched it on Oxygen.
It's
Yes.
also the Don't
It's
Die 5-year anniversary.
it's in Kentucky,
It's in
and
Kentucky,
the
right?
county starts with the B. And the brother is a cop. The brother that was the boyfriend was like a realtor. He did houses. He flipped them like that. He was a fixer-upper. Well, and there was shady. Crystal was probably killed
Shannon.
because she found the dirty business, the brother and the dirty cop.
Bard-
She knew some information. So she came up missing. Bardstown, Kentucky. There you go. Then the dad was assassinated while hunting with the grandchild.
Yes.
Her stepdad.
I remember
Wasn't it
listening.
her stepdad? No, it was her dad.
No, it was her real dad. He got shot.
I remember.
And the brother and his son were out, the grandson was with them. So they may have found they've been digging up on the property out there, and they found the white car that they've been looking for, which belonged to the grandmother.
Yep.
Over the last 6 months, they've been putting a little teasers out, and I'm waiting for the update to come on Oxygen.
Not only that, a police officer was gunned down.
Yes.
And they think it's all related.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I heard about
They
this.
put a tree branch or something across the road. The cop got out to move it, and he was assassinated.
Yep. In the middle of the night, mind you.
Yes.
So he was done with his shift. He was going home, and they put this huge tree over the road, and he got out to try to move it.
They killed him.
They killed him.
Dang.
Yes, I remember
and
this.
They said that
they set him up.
This cop may have had
Southern Gal. It was Inga. I turned her mic down. So
sorry about that.
It wouldn't be so loud. I turned it down. Is it better now? Okay. Yeah, I had I remember listening to that this past summer. It was that's a crazy case. I'm getting ready to do a drop a video. It's Bart and Christy Halderson, and it's a newer case. It's
oh yes, the parents were dismembered and burned and yep, because he was doctoring his school transcripts and the dad was getting pissed.
Yep, that's exactly
he
right.
got busted. Mm-hmm. I can't wait for that story. I'm looking forward to that one, Justin.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy one.
I don't have the stomach, man. I can barely hit somebody to defend myself,
Yeah.
But I can't. No. I would only defend myself, and if that other person had died in the process, that's my constitutional right, and that's the only time,
What happened in
Wisconsin?
But that old lady was from Springfield, Oregon. I'm here. My son's in Springfield. I just got my notification, and I had a little tear come down my face.
Yeah, that's great news.
Yes.
But I'm going to jump off. I'm going to go outside and hang out with my son and throw some horseshoes before the rain comes back.
What's the temperature there, Inga?
It's like 57.
Oh, wow. That's where it is tonight in South Florida.
Yeah, it's colder up here in Central Florida.
It's 15 here.
Ooh. Oh, boy. I believe it. My daughter's in North
Got us beat.
Oh.
So, but I'll see
Good
you in
snuggle
Washington.
weather.
I got my ticket today.
All right.
On the bus on the 24th. I'll arrive sometime. I'm not exactly how many hours. I forgot that.
All right. Well, we'll see you then, dear.
Yes, it's a date.
It's a date.
All righty, beautiful people. Happy
Bye, Inga.
Valentine's Day.
Bye, Inga. Happy Valentine's Day.
Love.
Bye.
All right.
Ooh, Tara, 12.
Yeah.
Oh,
God,
that's cold.
I hate this stuff.
It's also been the 5-year anniversary of the Delphi killings as
Oh,
well
it is, isn't it?
this
Yes.
week. Yeah.
They're getting closer on that. It
I think
seems
they're
like
gonna
a
bust that one. I think they're gonna bust it. I don't
yeah.
think they're gonna stop until they.
No, we're still in our heat wave. We're at 14 degrees.
Yeah. Same. But it's actually gonna warm up after tonight. Tomorrow it's gonna be 48, and then it's gonna be in the 50s and 60s.
It's supposed to be
That's
up
the
to
weather I
40 by
like.
Wednesday.
It was
40 on
6.
Wednesday here in Wisconsin. The
Yes.
frozen tundra.
Go home, Mother Nature. You're drunk.
Tara.
Yep.
Mother Nature's on crack, Tara said.
Yes, it really is. So over it.
Yeah, I know where you are, you Brigal. 14, yep.
You guys were talking about DNA, or Lori mentioned DNA earlier. And have you guys had your children swabbed for the DNA?
I can't hardly hear you, Robin.
I said, have you guys had your children swabbed for the DNA? You know, you can take them and have a swab.
I had 2 of mine done. I have like a little package, but not my daughter. But you could get DNA anywhere on her brush. She could get DNA from me. Yeah, so
I don't think my 2 boys, 22 and 25, would like me doing that to them.
No, I have my granddaughter done. I had my
Okay.
granddaughter done when she lived with me, and I just remembered that when you said that, Lori, and I was just
Yeah.
thinking of that. And now, is that stored somewhere? Like, I mean,
yeah, well, please store it.
okay.
For when you get your kids done, they give you a package. So if they ever come up missing, you have that package, which is swabs of them, which is their
I think we
picture,
did
which
that
is
at the boys'
certain
birth.
things.
I want to say we did
Yeah,
that at the boys' birth. Like they offered it to us at the hospital.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I gave that to her mother when she went back to her mother. But you know the situation now, like the mother does, my daughter doesn't have her. God knows where that packet is, and that's why I was just. I gave that to her mother when
yeah. They can get it off of her toothbrush or her brush.
God knows where that packet is.
Hey, Glam D, can you exit out of your YouTube, please?
They can get it off.
How do I do that, Justin?
You just shut the just exit completely out of YouTube, not out of StreamYards, just YouTube.
How do I do that, Justin?
I'm gonna mute her for a second.
Exit completely out of YouTube.
The window on your, there you go. No, hold on. I think I muted you. Okay. All right. She's figuring it out. You just exit out of the completely, like you're shutting out the YouTube window and just stay in your StreamYards. Could somebody block that MD? Well, I got my phone here.
There, they got
Oh,
him.
you got a bot?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be weird or anything. I was just curious because it made me think of that, and it just triggered that thought, and I was like, huh. I wonder.
Yeah,
if
they
that
can get it off of her toothbrush now, hairbrush, anything like that. They can get DNA off of her. But now they're able to get the DNA off of people, even people that touched the victim. They're able to get a DNA read off of them, or if they're sexually assaulted. But before they just had to store it with PD, and now they're actually like they just got a cold case. Little girl in the 50s was raped and killed. She was strangled to death, and they said it was horrific. They couldn't find him, but they had DNA samples. So they held it all this time. And this kid, I'm talking like 19 years old kid, has been studying genealogy and DNA since he was 12. He's like one of those Doogie Housers, And he actually helped the cops crack the case and did a whole recreation of the man's face, and they knew who did it from that.
So
Wow, that's
amazing.
Just
amazing.
busted it. Yeah, it was the third oldest cold case in the US history, and they busted it. They got it. The guy was dead. Unfortunately, he could never be
Charged.
no justice there. Yeah.
But it's just nice to know to have answers sometimes, when it's that old, it's
Yeah.
he didn't
Well,
I think
I wasn't saying all that about my granddaughter. God forbid it. Please, God, don't ever let anything happen to any one of my family, friends, anything. But like I said, I was just curious about that. That's why I was asking if anyone knew. I wasn't trying to, again,
No, it's a very interesting
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. I was just,
Amy.
yeah. Thank you, Lori,
Hi.
for that.
Hi, Amy.
Hi,
Hi.
hi, how's everybody? It reminds me, you were talking about a cold case that was solved. It's something
Uh-huh.
similar happened in my hometown. It was a girl, I grew up in Norwalk, Connecticut, and it was in 1986 where a child who was 11, a girl, Kathleen Flynn case, she was walking home from middle school, and she was found murdered in the woods, the R word on top of it. And finally, 3 years ago, through they kept her DNA. They were able to find the guy that did this, a 50-year-old guy. They found him living in Maine. So that's always very fortunate that we have this technology today, and then the families can get closure. Um, the one thing what they're doing, it's actually called genetic genealogy, where they're taking, someone, the crime scene people are submitting the DNA to these companies, and they're able to find like a distant relative, and they could build a family tree, which is there was a woman, she was very like a pioneer, CC Moore. I don't know if you've ever heard of CC Moore. There's a lot of YouTube videos on her and how she's been able to build a tree. But the only thing that I was getting very upset with is a lot of these DNA companies are now trying to not cooperate with law enforcement. They want to block that ability of law enforcement agencies to use their databases, and they're also going to allow people to say whether or not they want to opt in or out of their
Yeah.
DNA being used in comparison to samples that are submitted by these law enforcement agencies, which I'm like torn with that. But I think that wouldn't they want their family member, if something happened to their family member, wouldn't they want the
Yeah.
police to be able to do that for them?
When I
I
did my
just
23andMe, I had an option to opt in or opt out, and I opted in personally, but
well, because you have you know the right thing.
right.
And because some people, they want to protect their terrible people that are their family members,
Yeah.
But I find that interesting. But the thing that we were talking about with these missing kids, I'm just telling you, every time I'm seeing kids walk home from school, I get so cringe now. I'm like, I just don't like it now to see kids on their own and having a childhood. I just think that it's so unsafe, and still with the masking and people able to blend in to the environment, and it's not good. Even I work in a school, and I say, and I sometimes have a conversation with the kids that walk home, and I say, don't do shortcuts. I said, always stay on the same route you go.
Yes.
You always have to tell if they have to walk home, you just make sure that they know the safety and how to make sure that that they're not going in a different path that's not
Yes.
familiar or not visual or out, where somebody could see, where there would be more any kind of witnesses. Don't go through alleys or woods, because that's where the girl was found. That was the middle school girl that was the cold case that was solved, because she took a shortcut through the woods to go home. And and I remember this guy I went to school with. His mother was the nurse in the ER that night that the body was brought in, and he told me his mother couldn't believe what the condition was. It was just unbelievable. But I just wanted to say that everybody has to make sure their kids are safe now with everything that's going
Absolutely.
on, and really teach them just some street smarts. You know, we're so into this
Yes.
book smarts, but you got to get these kids to really follow their
Absolutely.
and there's like a really good book. I don't know if you've heard of this book. It's called The Gift of Fear. I
No, but I'm
don't
gonna write that down.
The Gift of Fear. And there's another book, I don't know, there's another one called Sheep No More. This is about how to be safe in situations, and how to
What was the
scope
second one called?
Sheep No More. It's written by this old like army. He's like an old FBI agent. He's been on like Newsmax. He's like a commentator. He comments on like the terrorism stuff. But he
That girl said she just read it.
The Sheep No More.
I don't
Or
know
which
but she-
one? Sheep No More, or Fear, or the Gift of Fear. But you know, we always have to teach
That girl's a smart
ourselves to
cookie.
not ignore our instincts. You know, we have to
Wow.
not let teach kids to shut down their instincts, their first impressions. You know, if they don't feel comfortable, if they don't feel afraid, you have to really allow them to go by that gut feeling that they have, because that gut feeling will save their life one day. So that's all.
Absolutely.
I wasn't feeling good. I just wanted to be quick. So as I
Are you
said, I
getting
wasn't
sick?
well.
You just
I had like a reflux attack last night, and then I had a headache all weekend.
does it
Then I
come
had
up
to
and you can't breathe?
No, what's weird is that I get this. I've been on omeprazole, and I had
Yes.
this. I lie down, and I fall asleep before my daughter doesn't want to go to bed, so I wound up lying down on the sofa, and
Yeah.
you know, and I fall asleep, and I wake up, and I'm choking, and it feels like I have this soapy feeling in my throat. It's like tastes like I'm having choking on dish liquid. And
Yes.
I just and I shouldn't. And I know I have to lose weight. This COVID crap really made me gain weight. Not
Join
not
the
getting
club,
enough
sister.
So
exercise.
many,
Join the
so
club.
many, yeah.
And so then I didn't. Then I had chills last night, and I did. I had and you know how you go in bed and you just can't get enough covers on you. You just have a chill. But I went to work. I went to work anyways, because I knew that if I called in, they weren't going to find a replacement for me, because I'm a nurse, and I can't do that to the people that need care. And I wear the mask, of course, so I'm not breathing on anybody. Luckily I didn't have a fever. I monitored that. I just pushed myself. So then I have to take care of my daughter, and I have a terrible situation in my home life. So I don't really get into that on the internet and what
Sure.
goes on I really don't want to get into that, but it's just everything's on me. I have a daughter I have to take care of. It just gets very overwhelming when you have a child that you want to
Absolutely.
take
Especially
care
when
of.
you're sick and you don't feel
And
good.
right,
It makes it that much worse.
you're right. At least she's older. When they're older, you know, when your kids get older, Justin, it'll become a little easier, because they'll be able to then take care of
Do a
you and
little
give
bit
you
more.
meals, and they'll say,
Yeah.
"Daddy, are you sick? We'll make you breakfast. When you don't feel, give you some chicken soup, you know." But it gets a little easier. But you know, you know, you're when you're a mother or a parent or your father,
Mhm.
it doesn't stop when you're sick. You don't get a sick day when you're a parent.
No.
So
No.
No, there's no
you
such
know,
thing as a sick day.
that's right.
Sick or
So
not, you get up and dust yourself
absolutely.
off and
But
No. Oh,
but I just wanted to also say that that these laundries are pariahs. If I had
Oh,
if
yeah.
you had people in that neighborhood, how could they even stay there? How could they even feel you know, comfortable being in that, staying there? It's just unbelievable. There's never going to
yeah.
be closure. And you know,
It's what it feels like, doesn't it? It just feels like it's an open wound still.
Yeah.
I really hope that sister says something. You know, it's just I don't understand that someone in that family has to break that cycle of
I agree.
whatever started that whole unhealthy kind of dynamic. You know, because it's like a repetitive thing.
Yes.
And so I don't know. It's terrible when you see people that perpetuate the whole thing. And you were when we were talking about the Chandler case, you were going to go over the Chandler case. Just the two people that I really feel bad in that case are for the girlfriend and the brother.
Yep.
Those are the
Me
people
too.
who I really feel bad for. Is that girl is never going to have any kind of trust, or she's going to
Oh
not
my
trust her
God.
feel her gut about if she's being bamboozled,
And
by
she
a
certainly
guy.
was. He totally manipulated her by laying, fixing it nice and downstairs, putting the sofas
Of
together, making this
course.
great big bed. She thought it was just a little romantic thing, you know
Oh,
what
I
I mean?
know.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
then
she's so
his,
young. Oh,
his mom and dad is in the freezer
it's
downstairs.
so
Oh,
sick. It's so sick. So I don't know. It's just, it doesn't end. There's more and more cases and we just can't keep up with them.
It's
I
every day,
and
Amy, every day.
these I really think that the CPS people really need to be going to jail or something. So and these
They
judges
need
need to
to,
be
yes.
they need to go to jail. And
Well, they what's the word? They don't,
hold them
they,
accountable.
yeah, they need
no,
to hold them accountable. But what's what's the thing that the police are covered by? I can't think of the name
it's
right
in
now.
it's oh I know in immunity. No, not immunity. I
Immunity,
know
yeah,
which.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have like an immunity to this, and I feel like
Well,
if your ass is on the line, you'll straighten up a little bit.
absolutely. But you know what it
Mm-hmm.
You know what
reminds
I mean?
me of? But I really think these judges are crooked. And when I grew up, there was a public access channel. And I remember there was a woman, I don't remember, it's from Connecticut. I grew up in that state. And her name was Glendora. I don't know what she was, but she would talk about black robe crime. She would be on that TV, on that station, naming names and calling out the judges and all of their shenanigans and all of their crap that they pulled on the public. And and family court is actually just a money making scheme, and they really need to reform it and get rid of it. There's no reason why that there should be any reunification. That they have to be held accountable, and people need to stop calling CPS. They need to call the police when
Yeah,
they see something going on. When someone's getting abused or child's getting hurt, you really need to call the police. You don't waste your time with CPS.
yeah. That
They're not
just,
going to be able to do anything. And
yeah,
the thing is, CPS will go into a house and just took two things in the refrigerator would pass an inspection. They don't have our standard of a stocked kitchen. They don't really. They don't care about these kids. I really think they don't care.
yeah.
And
Well, you work in the schools, you see it. So
I just started that. That was my first. I just recently got back into the profession because I took time off to be with my daughter. But no, I worked in the city. I did pediatric case management in New York City, and people would come in and we wouldn't believe that there was CPS involvement, and they let this happen to these kids that we saw
yeah,
coming in. It's just the standard of what's acceptable. For children to live is very
I
low.
agree. You're
Food,
absolutely right.
clothing, cleanliness, etc. And
Yes. It doesn't have to be nice, it doesn't have to be fancy or anything like that. That they just need the basics is all anybody's asking, you know?
but when you don't give the basics, that's the problem.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's terrible. But and then women that are placing their not having an empty bed over their child.
Mm-hmm.
When
Exactly.
I remember I had a case. I could say it because I'm not saying names. I remember a case of a 10-month-old with bilateral femur fractures. She was had two casts on her legs, and
Mm.
it was good. And the mother's boyfriend did it, but then she's already pregnant again by the boyfriend that did that to her
Yeah.
10-month-old.
Common.
It's just unbelievable. And I don't know I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what ever happened to that baby. I don't even know if they put her back in with the mother, but it was
Well,
just unbelievable.
the guy
You
needs he needs his skull
oh,
cracked for doing
but I
that.
don't understand. I just don't like if I would never, as a mother, I would never want another man that's not my daughter's biological father near her.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people can't wait until their kids are grown and out of the house.
Yeah.
because who would trust somebody today? I would not trust
They
somebody.
care about themselves over their kids, and that's
Yep.
becoming a very common
Like,
trait.
like who would have the energy to even want to date or even do it with someone? Like all my energies go towards my child. You know, it's just I have no interest at this point, you know.
I hear
I'm
ya.
like, leave me alone. I'm exhausted. I'm like, I just want to go home and take care of my child, get her fed, make sure she's all right.
Right.
You
Go to
know, and
bed.
everything is done. The schoolwork is done, all that stuff, you know. But that's nice talking to you. I just my throat's a little scratchy, but
That's
I
the way
just
mine
wanted to
is.
just chime in. No, it's from the acid. You know, when you have
Oh
acid
yeah.
comes
Look,
up. I
I've
think
had
my
hiatal hernia surgery. I know exactly what you're going through. I've had
but I
surgery
but I
on
have
it,
to
so
but I know I have to lose weight. The weight loss will help it, you know. I think I need to do that. All right, everybody. Have a good
prop
night.
yourself up.
Good
All
night.
right.
Take
Good night.
care
Hope
now.
you feel
Bye.
better.
Bye. But thanks so
Bye.
much. Bye.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I want to
like
say the first.
what
I'm sorry. I was just like when she was talking about the system, and I was like, yeah, you know, like the first time I walked into this, I'd have to go to all these court hearings. You know, when I got my granddaughter, like every time I turned around, I was getting a letter having to go to court. You know, and my daughter wouldn't have to be there. I would have to go to court. You know, and
right.
I walk in, and there's all these people. And I'm like, and all these, not just grandparents, but great grandparents raising their great grandchildren. And
Yes.
the courtroom's just packed. And it's
Hmm.
like the system is so overwhelmed with all these cases.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm wheezing a little bit. I don't know if y'all can hear it. But, anyways, so they're overwhelmed and stuff. And it's just like, it was just so like I was taken back. Like, wow, this is a problem. There is a
Oh,
problem.
it's a huge
I,
problem.
there's
Yeah.
a big problem.
The system is broken by far, and the again, I think the workers need to be held accountable, and I think that a lot of times it's not even the workers' fault because sometimes it's the laws itself.
A lot of
The
it's the
workers,
laws.
yeah, the
Hmm.
workers are tied. Literally, my next door neighbor works for CPS, and she'll tell me some of them are just flat out lazy, and she'll tell me that a lot of times, she can't do anything about it. But either way, it's very frustrating.
And another thing I learned was that if CPS comes to your door, you don't
Uh-huh.
have to open the door and let them in. The only
No.
time you do is if they have a court order. I was like,
Hmm.
what?
That's the law part.
Yep.
Yep.
And the
Yes.
police have no say in it. The police are just there to keep peace.
Yeah.
I was like I
Hmm.
said, it was so like eye opening to learn all these things.
Yeah.
And scary.
Yes, it is.
I want to look more into that case that just happened in Florida with the child being held in a cage in Jupiter. I'm gonna
Ye-
look into that more.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, like it's a very wealthy family in Jupiter,
Wealthy
Florida.
family, yeah.
Yeah, and evidently he was being held in a cage for like 4 years, and he goes to school and everything, but nobody ever found out that his parents caged him.
And you have
See,
to use
that
that.
shows you
And they got out
that
on
it
bail, didn't they?
doesn't matter if you have money or not.
Right. It's just
Right.
mental illness. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they made him use the bathroom in a bucket in his room.
I mean, how could you do that?
That's
How?
My
so
my
hard.
cousin, they adopted a little boy, and he wasn't like out of his crib. Like he was like never out of his crib, I don't think.
Oh.
And it was he was very delayed for a
Flat
long
out.
time,
Yeah.
and then the woman ended up having another one, and then another one, and then
Oh.
another one, and then another one. So now
Oh
they
my
have
God.
five. They have five kids, and they literally built a daycare. So they run a daycare now. So they were
So
in
it'd
the
be so
military.
interesting to get somebody from CPS on the panel.
It's hard to do because
Under
they
a different
really,
name just to explain the regulations.
yeah.
We need to get like a retired one.
I wonder. I can ask my neighbor Tanya. Like oops, almost mentioned her name. Sorry.
We didn't hear it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she'll be
You know,
allowed to
just
talk
general
about it or not. But if she
questions to
is,
say how they work.
yeah.
Just protect her name and her identity. She could be like behind like I am, but with no name, you know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can
As
call
long
her
as
Griselda.
yes.
Griselda.
That's what I was saying. Might be able to, as long as I don't know. I just don't want like
Yeah, just
anybody
might
local to
enlighten
see her.
people on
That's the
how they
thing.
work.
No,
and
you'd have to
how
withhold
much.
her identity, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
for that. But
Do the CPS have spokespeople?
what's that?
Do the CPS have spokespeople who talk to the media or to anything?
Yeah, you do.
Like generally
Yeah, I'm
about stuff.
sure. Yeah.
Justin, Tabby wants a link.
Yeah. I dropped it.
Oh, there it is. I'm gonna jump down.
You sound sleepy.
Yeah.
I
A
am.
long day.
I have a headache.
Oh, you and Marissa now.
Yep.
I hope you feel better, Heidi.
Yeah, I will. Eventually.
You need to get some sleep. Sleep tonight and it'll be better, I'm sure.
Yep. I'm gonna take my medication and lay down.
Okay.
That's probably why you don't feel good too, because you couldn't take your medication.
Sweet
today.
dreams.
Yeah. So you guys all have a good night. I'll be in chat listening.
You too, honey.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Better.
Bye, Heidi.
Bye.
CPS sounds confidential. Yeah. Yeah, I know that they like it's really hold on. Hey Tabitha.
Oh, she's muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, there
You.
Oh, there you go. Is that better?
Yeah.
Ooh.
How are you doing?
I'm good. That case in Jupiter. Oh my gosh. Did you guys hear the whole story?
No.
I haven't looked into it yet, so if you know more, please, yes.
Oh, it's
tell us.
nuts. So
Tell
this
us about-
boy was 14 and they had him in this structure in a garage. They had a contractor come out and they asked him to build this strange structure with this camera on the ceiling and all this stuff. And the contractor contacted the police. Like, I don't feel comfortable with this. And the police went out to the house and nothing was done. You know, it was deemed just an office. Everything's fine. Well, a month later, this boy goes missing. He's a runaway. He was still going to school and the police found him at the school. And they took him in and asked, you know, what's going on? Why'd you run away? And he told them he doesn't feel like anybody loves him and he's locked in this room. And, you know, he has been beat a few times with belts and jump ropes. And the poor kid had been living in this little tiny structure in the garage. He can't control the lights or anything for 4 years. So the parents get arrested and they go to court. They get their bond at $25,000 per charge at 2 charges each. They bond out. Now, their lawyer put out this thing that says they were keeping everybody safe from him, that he has fractured his siblings' bones. He has threatened schools. He's been to so many schools. He's a troubled kid. He has caused numerous problems, and there's multiple reports of everything. So they're saying he is just crazy and out of control, and he's in protective services now. So it's like that still doesn't justify what you did to him.
No. You go take him to a psychologist. You put him, there's so many other
Right.
yeah, no, none at all.
And the lawyer speaking out so much. You don't usually hear anything after they get arrested, but the lawyer's putting out tons of information.
So,
Yeah.
Tabitha,
It's
are there
heartbreaking.
actual reports that you know of?
That's what I'm waiting for next. So that just came out like 2 days ago.
Right.
So the lawyer claims and said that she has submitted everything to the state for them to reconsider the charges, because there's like some of the things that they claim he's done is pretty bad. Like it's pretty horrific, but it still doesn't excuse what you did to him.
Absolutely.
No,
So
and his behavior is going to get worse
Right,
here's the
that's what
parents.
I
to be
said.
abused like that. Yeah.
Here's the
So
parents.
he
Can you
asked
see this? Can you guys see
Yeah, I
this?
see
the
him.
cops. There's 4 other kids in the house. We don't know if they're adopted or biological. And he asked the cops, send me to prison, do anything, just don't make me go back to that house. There's been no signs of him being violent, aggressive, mentally unstable. They Baker acted him and sent him to the psych ward right that first day. And the psych ward released him and was like, he's fine.
Okay, let's
Wow.
read this. Let's see what this
Yeah.
is.
Well, there was
Okay.
hold on. There was a picture up because I saw this when it came out, and there was a picture.
14-year-old son and forced the teen to live in a garage for at least 5 years. Tracy and Timothy Ferreiter, both 46, were arrested in Jupiter, FLA, on charges of aggravated child abuse. According to a police report obtained by CBS 12, detectives arrived at the Ferreiters' home after Tracy reported her teens missing. When they arrived, police say they noticed an 8-by-8 structure inside the garage that Tracy allegedly described as a small office. Authorities noticed the structure had a deadbolt locked from the outside, and that its light switch was only on the exterior of the structure, the police report alleges. Inside the structure was a mattress, a sheet, some books, and other personal items.
Here we go.
When the teen resurfaced at school the following day, he told officers that his parents locked him in the garage structure for up to 18 hours, WPTV reports. When an officer asked the teen why he ran away, he allegedly told them, "Because I feel like no one loves me."
Aw.
The teen allegedly pleaded with officers to arrest him, telling them that he would rather be in prison than be back at home, the report alleges. Detectives now allege that the Ferreiters have been physically abusing and forcibly confining the teen to live in the garage structure since 2017. The teen was permitted to attend school, authorities allege, but was locked up during the remainder of the day while at home. Meals were brought to him, and a bucket was provided in lieu of a bathroom. According to court documents, a search warrant served at the house revealed thousands of videos from a Ring camera that showed the teen locked inside the structure. After the Ferreiters were taken to jail, 3 other children living in the home were removed by Child Protective Services, WPEC reports. The Ferreiters appeared in court on Wednesday morning. According to WPTV, their defense attorney, Nellie King, argued that the child, who had been adopted, suffered from reactive attachment disorder. King said that the disorder was a condition in which a child fails to form a healthy emotional bond with caretakers. A judge has set the Ferreiters' bond at $50,000 each and ordered them not to have contact with their children unless authorized by the Florida Department of Children and Families. They have pleaded not guilty. Their attorney did not immediately return People's call for comment.
Okay, so that is People magazine.
Yeah, so they found the Ring camera mounted to the ceiling facing the mattress on the floor. And when they went through the Ring camera, it said there were thousands of videos of him. There were even videos of him being beaten. One where every morning they come in and they point to the bucket and are like, "Is it dirty?" And then they make him dump it and scrub it. And it's just disgusting. And to think that he got put in there when he was 10 years old. What the hell?
No wonder he's going to have some reactive disorder to, he's not getting love. He's not getting caring. I saw this other thing. about a child who was adopted, and it turns out she was severely sexually abused by her father, and she was only 3 at the time when he abused her. And at 6, she was hurting her biological brother. A couple adopted both of them, and she was physically hurting him. She was killing animals.
Oh
But
my.
they went ahead and went through the proper channels. She went to a behavioral place for a couple years, and she came home as this loving, respectful child, and
Aw.
now is a nurse. But
Oh, that's
because her
wonderful.
adoptive parents actually gave a crap and really got her help, I mean, so if any of that was true, either you don't lock your child in a
Right.
yeah.
And
Oh,
then
I'm heartbroken.
the police interviewed the siblings. One was 2 years old, and then I think the others might be like, I know one's I think in a teenager. I can't remember the other one. But the 2-year-old was crying to the police, saying, "I don't know why he's out there all the time. I don't know why I'm not allowed to play with my brother." Like, oh my
Oh,
gosh! Like they're messing with
They've
all of
screwed
the
these
kids.
kids' minds up.
yeah.
Come here.
The
The boy said
PTSD and the
he
trauma.
he could recall one spanking was so painful he fell off his bed in pain. The boy
Oh,
stated the
Yeah, he
spanking
said
would
he was
never take
beaten so
place
bad with
in
the
his
belt that
bedroom.
he fell over.
Yes, the boy stated the spanking would take place in his bedroom where he would be naked, bent over his bed.
oh, poor baby, man.
I hope they fry in
Damn.
hell, these people. Let's see what
I
the
do
picture says.
too.
Stir. It's a new way.
It was an 8 foot by 8 foot. Why
Yeah.
this kid? Why do these parents always single out one kid?
And why adopt? Why adopt if you're going to do that?
Yes.
Now, neighbors say the accusations involving this Jupiter couple are really hard to believe.
Yeah, they live in Egret Landing
Is it echoing?
neighborhood. It's filled with.
Is it echoing?
It's a very tiny bit, but it's good. You can play it like that.
I'm buffering. I have so many on panel. Probably. That's.
Do you want me to hop down?
Oh, no, Batgirl.
So you can
Thank you,
play it?
Batgirl. Lock the criminals up. Bond, really? Exactly. They all look really clean, or the parents do, and you have your kid pissing in a bucket.
Oh God, this is just
It said
heartbreaking.
that sometimes he didn't even get the bucket.
That's ridiculous.
It's disgusting.
They should they should give the bucket to them in a little cell. I hope they
Prison cell,
can't bond out.
exactly.
They did bond out. They're out.
Oh,
Well, they took the other
General
kids, right?
population would love that, Dad.
Yeah, they took the other kids. And they're pleading with the state. Please consider all of this new evidence their lawyers giving the state before allowing the siblings to be in the same area. So they're saying that this kid's so dangerous.
Okay.
Don't
That
put
girl
them in the
says
same.
who had custody of this children or relative of theirs. Was he in the system? I don't know. Near the end. Where did they go? Make sure you guys can see this. Okay. Yes, they are out. The system screwed up. Let's see here. This work now.
Yeah, the state asked for no bond.
Stir. It's a
They
new.
have a pretty good lawyer.
Yeah, they should have no bond. They should be in a 6x6 or 6x8, however big a jail cell is. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
A mother and father from Jupiter accused of the unthinkable make their first appearance in court today.
Investigators say the couple kept their.
Perfect. Hold on.
Their actual hearing is online too. You can see that.
Okay. Do you mind me asking, do you live in Florida?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I live in Cleveland.
Okay. It's definitely
I
not.
was just really interested in this
Florida.
case when I seen it.
Here we go. Let's see what these say. 46 have been raising 4 children in their house. Okay, landing development. A 2-year-old boy, 13 and 16-year-old girls, and a 14-year-old boy. Some were adopted. I wonder if they treated you think that they treated the adopted kids differently?
Well, it says he was the only one. The other 3 all had rooms with stuff of their own. He didn't have like anything of his own. Is what I read.
Let's see what it says.
The case against them concerns their 14-year-old adopted son. Police said he ran away in late January. That led them to see the space in the garage, interview the boy and his sisters, and ultimately arrest the parents. Editor's note: the information below comes from the arrest reports written by a Jupiter police detective. Names were blocked out before the report was made available, and CBS 12 News put most of the pieces together. On the evening of Friday, January 28th, 2 Jupiter police officers responded to a missing person investigation. Tracy Fairrider reported her 14-year-old son was missing and had run away from home several times before. She told police he had several behavioral disorders and was in trouble at school the day before, which is why she thought he ran away. It was at this point an officer told the main detective on this case that police had been to the home of Tracy and Timothy Fairrider in December 2021. That was when somebody named Jack called to say he was asked to build an office in the garage of their home. Jack said he'd do the job, but after getting directions, he thought it was very strange. Jack said the room was an 8x8 space in the garage with its own ceiling and door, which had a deadbolt lock and a knob only on the outside, no knob inside, so if someone were inside the office, they would not be able to exit unless someone opened the door for them from the outside, according to the report. Jack added, the space needed electricity and a window air conditioning unit, plus a camera in the ceiling, and he'd have just 2 days to complete the job.
What? 2 days?
On Sunday, January 30th, police say 2 officers knocked at the door and nobody was home. An officer called Tracy Fairrider to ask if they could check for her son inside, but she refused.
Okay, let's see. I cannot believe 2 days to finish it. These people.
Around 10 that night, 2 other officers returned to the home. She said her son hadn't returned and denied the officers entry. Finally, after a long conversation, she allowed one in. He said he went to a room immediately inside the home and to the right of the front door. The room is described as a small office Tracy stated had been converted into a bedroom. Inside of the room was a small crib to the left, and on the floor was a small plaid blanket and a pillow that Tracy advised the boy used, stating he and his 2-year-old brother share the room together. The officer continued describing the room. The inside was vibrant and painted, and had several small toys and belongings seeming to belong to the toddler, as the toys were designed for younger ages. When I asked where the 14-year-old's belongings were, Tracy then took me through the kitchen and advised he had toys and some belongings in the other room. Tracy stated further, there was a structure the family had built for the 14-year-old in the garage. Tracy brought me to the garage and showed me the structure. The structure is described as a small room with a plain white door. The door was open and had a doorknob and deadbolt, both locking from the exterior of the room. Inside of the room, to the right, was a small plain box spring, and on top of that a mattress with a gray sheet and pillow. Seated in the room was a small dark-colored desk with school books and small children's books along with a foldable chair. Above the bed in the room was a black Ring brand camera. It should be noted the room was a small plain white structure with no paint or color on the walls and appeared to be bare drywall. The floor was a bare garage floor with part of an indoor-outdoor rug covering it. While showing me the space, Tracy had several different explanations for the room, stating first the room was built as an office for possibly her husband Timothy Ferreiter, also charged. The officer went on to say, when questioned regarding the exterior lock, Tracy stated the room was used as storage for the family, and then advised it was a space used by all of the children. When asked why there was a bed and box spring inside, and Tracy finally advised the space was sometimes used by a
Adopted
14
son in an 8x8 structure in his family's garage with nothing but a mattress and a bucket.
Report 14-year-old was discovered on a security camera at Independent Middle School. Police went there, used a drone, found the boy, and took him to the police station. The detective wrote, I asked the boy to describe a typical day for him, and he stated in the morning he is woken up by someone because his door is locked. The boy advised if somebody would wake him up in the morning, tell him to go to the bathroom, and then he would go back to his room. The boy said somebody would lock the door and usually turn the lights off.
Oh my God.
The boy advised he would be in his room until somebody would return from dropping his other siblings off at school. The boy advised once his mother was home, she would feed him breakfast, consisting of a banana and a piece of bread and peanut butter. The boy stated after he was finished eating, somebody would come back into the room, and he would get dressed and go to school. After school, the boy stated somebody would pick him up and his siblings up and return home, and he would go back into his room. I asked the boy to describe his room, and he stated it was 8x8. The boy further stated the room had a lockable doorknob and deadbolt lock that both locked from the outside, and there was a light switch on the outside of the room as well. The boy stated someone would always lock him in there.
Sorry, I thought it would still do sound if I mute. Okay. There you go. Now let's do this part.
The boy stated he has to stay in his room when somebody plural are not home, or when they want him to be there. When asked how often he is in the room, and he said a lot. I asked him if he was home, if he would be playing with his friends or family, and he said no, and that he would be reading books in his room, and stated he was not allowed to go anywhere else in the house. I asked the boy if he would like to be in his current room, or a different room, and he stated a different room. I asked the boy why he ran away, and he stated, because I feel like no one loves me.
Is there sound?
I asked the boy if he felt safe
Yeah,
at
it's
home.
good.
Okay.
He did not, because somebody gets really aggressive with him. When asked to describe how somebody gets aggressive, he stated once somebody slammed him against a wall by his neck and struck him in the face with an open hand.
Ugh.
When asked how often somebody has been physical with him, he stated that it happened a lot in Arizona. I asked the boy to describe discipline he receives, and he stated somebody male gets profane and angry, and that he sometimes spits in my face.
Oh my God.
The boy further stated his discipline consists of spanking with a belt. I asked the boy if he ever sleeps in the room with a sibling, and he stated he does not.
it to relieve himself. This is allegedly happening in the very family-oriented neighborhood of Egret Landing in Jupiter, right across
There's
the
an echo,
street
let
from
me know.
Jupiter First Church and St. Peter's Catholic Church.
Tonight we have live team coverage beginning with our Lexi Nall. She's been looking into some of the disturbing new details from police.
Jim, the report details physical and emotional abuse that this teenage.
There it goes. It doesn't want to do it. Okay. That's smart.
The boy advised the longest he could remember being locked inside of the room was approximately 16 to 18 hours. The boy advised somebody provided him with a bucket to go to the bathroom, stating he has used the bucket several times in the past. The boy advised when he uses the bucket, he is made to dump it out in the backyard of the residence and clean it out. The boy stated he eats most of his meals in his bedroom, which usually consists of leftovers after the rest of the family eats. The boy advised if he is not in his room or at school, he is outside in the yard doing yard work somebody makes him do until being locked back inside of the room. The boy stated somebody is very physically abusive to him, and he is fearful somebody may knock him out. The boy advised he had a room in Arizona similar to the room he has now, stating that it was approximately 8x10. Near the end of the interview, the boy advised he did not want to return to his family and pleaded to arrest him, stating he would rather be in prison than be back at home. The boy further stated he had suicidal thoughts. Based on the boy's statements, he was placed under a Law Enforcement Baker Act and transported to the hospital for evaluation. Next day, Tuesday, February 1st, authorities removed the girls from the schools and the toddler from the Fairrider home. The girls were interviewed. One sister confirmed the 14-year-old boy's allegations, stating, his room is in the garage, and he gets put into his room when he is either misbehaving or in trouble, and stated the boy is in trouble a lot. The girl said the door has a lock that is locked from the outside and stated if the boy is in his room, the door is locked. When discussing the room, the girl began crying and became emotional, advising she wanted to do the right thing for the boy. She also mentioned the camera in the room and a monitor. She said the punishments the boy receives are extremely different from the ones she and her other sibling receive, advising when either her or the other sister are in trouble, they get their phone taken away or other restrictions. However, when the boy is in trouble, he gets locked into his room, made to do yard work or write sentences. The girl advised she has seen somebody grab the boy by the neck, but has not otherwise seen him be physically abusive, but stated she has heard somebody through the walls of his bedroom and hers. The girl stated somebody has told her he has been hit with a belt and jump rope. The girl advised the boy has been locked in his room for hours at a time and used the butt to go to the bathroom in, and stated he has used the bathroom on the floor before. Then, the other sister had her interview. According to the arrest report, she confirmed all of the statements the victim and the other sister made. This sister didn't know exactly what the room looks like since she hadn't seen it in a while, but stated she knows the room is in the garage and has a lock on the exterior to keep the boy inside. This girl stated she missed the boy and wished he were not in trouble, as she has not been able to play with him lately. The girl stated over the weekend while the boy was missing, somebody took her and somebody else to Tampa for a softball tournament. Authorities were able to get a search warrant for the camera after speaking with the 3 children. Caught on camera, according to the arrest report.
Sorry.
Each day,
Hold on.
on camera, according to the arrest report, thousands of videos were obtained which showed the boy being repeatedly locked inside of his room daily. Each day, the boy was placed in the room you could hear the door close and deadbolt lock. In several videos, you could hear and see both Tracy and Timothy Fairrider yelling at the boy. In one video in particular, the boy was locked in his room after being found to have stolen chocolate and cookies from the kitchen despite being told he was not allowed to have them. This behavior resulted in the boy having the covers removed from his mattress picked up and tossed against the wall, and Timothy grabbing the boy against the arm yelling at him. Each morning when Timothy greets the boy, he asks him, "Is it dirty?" and points to the bucket the boy has to use to relieve himself and that is kept in the corner of the bedroom.
So
In one
sad.
video, the boy advises the bucket is dirty. Timothy yells at him to clean it, and the boy goes off camera.
He was in hell.
Yes. Hell.
The next day, Wednesday, February 2nd, 2 detectives went to the family's previous home to talk with the current owner. A woman told them she knew the family had never been inside their home, but told the detective, according to the arrest report, the current owners had noted a creepy room in the garage. When asked to expound further, she stated the room was only able to be locked from the outside, and she only saw the walls, but stated the current owners had it removed. The current owner confirmed there was a room in the garage he had removed because the room could only be locked from the outside, and he believed the room was made to keep someone inside of it. The owner advised the realtor for the Fairriders described the room as a bonus room. However, when he was shown the room, it had a small child-sized bed inside with comforter. The owner provided me with inspection documents for the residence, showed photographs of the room. Although the Fairriders purchased the residence at that location in 2014, it is unknown when the room in the garage was built or for how long the boy was locked inside. Last Friday, February 4th, the boy was released from the hospital he'd been at since Monday. He was taken to the child protection team for another interview. His answers hadn't changed. During the interview, the boy confirmed he is made to stay locked in his bedroom in the garage, and further confirmed it is an 8x8 space with a door that has a deadbolt and door not lock that are both locked from the outside. The boy stated the longest he can recall being locked inside of the room is 18 hours. The boy advised he does not have a bathroom in his room, but stated he uses an orange Home Depot brand bucket to urinate and defecate in.
Mm-hmm.
The boy was asked about discipline during the interview, and he advised he has received spankings before, both with a belt and a jump rope. The boy stated the spankings would take place in his bedroom, and he would be naked bent over his bed. The boy stated he could recall one spanking was so painful he fell off his bed in pain. Detectives concluded, based on the testimony, there was probable cause to believe the Fairriders willfully tortured, maliciously punished, or willfully and unlawfully caged the boy, a child. Also, there was probable cause to believe the Fairriders did forcibly, by threat, or secretly confine, abduct, imprison, or restrain the boy against that person's will and without lawful authority. Authority. More explore. Jupiter.
That is insane.
God.
That is insane.
I just want to hug him. I just want to like give him love, you
And
know?
it had to be getting worse for that
Yeah.
kid. You know what I mean?
Enduring
Yeah.
his family's garage, and we must warn
Hold
you,
on.
some of the
He
things
probably
he told.
took the cookies and stuff because he was starving. They were giving him
Yes.
scraps.
See, this is one case that's brought to light. How many more are out there?
Yeah.
He would have ended up dead.
Thank
He would have
God
ended
he
up
ran
dead.
away.
Yes. Yes, and how many more? Do you remember a few years ago that family, they had like 18 kids or something?
The Turpins.
Yes. Yes. They
Yeah.
were originally from probably 40 minutes from where I live. They're originally from West Virginia.
Wow.
And they moved all over the country, but then they were in California when they caught them. And Diane Sawyer just did an interview with them not too long ago. It was just, they were just like,
Heartbreaking.
they were handcuffed to the beds whenever the cops showed up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I hope they all, these kids came from, yeah, I don't think so, Vet Girl. I don't think so. I mean, I would hope not, and rather than just knowing and then allowing that. Yes, Kelly, the turbans are just like this.
And the poor kid ran away and he goes to school. Like, how bad was that child? I doubt it was. I think he was like a black sheep adopted
Mhm.
kid, and they
Yeah.
just were miserable, hateful people.
I don't care if he was a bad child. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You still don't
yeah.
deserve
No,
anything like that. If
no.
there's no such thing as bad children, they just need work.
Yeah.
I have twins. One of my twins is more, he's more, I don't want to say maybe rowdy, but he's more vocal and
Mm-hmm.
everything. But you just have to learn to work. You have to learn how they learn. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And how to deal with the issues that, how they process information.
Right.
Everybody processes information differently, and you have to learn, your kids.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And this child, you know, if he was one of the adopted ones, he came from probably a bad place anyways, but he went into a worse place,
Mm-hmm.
probably.
Mm. I pray that he finds somebody that's going to love him and work with him, and I pray that he doesn't get lost in the system. I just want to go and like hug him, you
Yeah.
know?
I just want to give him a home,
Yeah.
baby. He was adopted, Tara? Oh, okay, you mean he was adopted by the family, the
Yeah.
evil family. It's just unbelievable. And how many more, what was I'm trying to think of her name. I think they was in Columbus or Cleveland. Maybe it was Cleveland. They were gone for like 10 or 15 years, and the abuser, he had a children with her, I think. Who knows their names? I'm horrible with names. You know who I'm talking about, Lori? Robin, Tina?
I'm just trying to think of the name now.
It's
I remember
it's
seeing it all.
Castro or something like that. It's his last name's Castro, I think it is.
Oh, was that the guy? Yes, that was the guy that had the three women
Yes.
locked up together, and then he got them pregnant, and they were living in the house. Yes, I know exactly
Amanda.
what you're
One
talking
of her
about.
names was Amanda. And when
Yeah.
she calls,
Yeah.
she's like, "It's me, Amanda. I'm free now." And that, I just wanted to cry because she
Oh,
was
I
just, the
know.
way she said it, my heart, man.
I couldn't imagine.
Cleveland House of Horrors. Yes. Yes. Ariel Castro. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah, I remember that one. And the Turpins, they had like 12 children, and they were ranging from the age of 29.
Yes.
And they looked like they were 12.
Yes. Yes. And the girls, they're so beautiful now, and
Oh, yeah.
they're
They
all
got life.
living their best life. They
Yes.
really are.
They got life. and some of them were having problems financially because here they are, 29 years old, no education. The CPS can't take them. At 18, you're booted out.
Yeah.
So the one girl that was the one that went through the window and called cops, she said that they've been having their own struggles, but it sounds like
Yes.
they're all doing good.
Yes. CPS screwed them. Yes.
I mean, that was heartbreaking
Yeah, I
seeing
think
when
her
she
name's
was on the
Jordan.
phone wanting help.
What was that?
I said it was hard seeing her when she was on the phone when the police came to her and she was talking, and it was like talking like a little girl, and she didn't know certain words, and
She didn't know where
she
she
was so
was. She didn't know how to.
petrified. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
She
seeing her
couldn't
on
tell an
recent
address.
interviews, so healthy.
Hi, Joe. The Turbans, their family still lives here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like the sister of the mother, I don't know her name, but they were just mortified. You know, it was just.
Yeah.
I think they got did they get a life sentence?
Yeah. They
I
got a
thought
life
so.
sentence.
Yeah.
One of the kids actually stood up and said, I don't want them. Like, they still had love for their parents, even though they
Yeah.
treated them badly. They really had a lot of empathy for them, which
Yeah.
was very odd, I thought. But it's because they were loving kids.
Yeah.
Just,
Kids have that. They forgive a
yeah.
lot easier. And,
Yeah.
what was it? But they would dress them up into these when they renewed their vows, they went to Vegas and they had Elvis like marrying them, and they was to take pictures and to make them look like it was just the perfect life. They was all dressed really nice and everything, but she said that evening, because there's something, we wasn't smiling enough or something, they got the crap beat out of them that evening that
Yes.
they renewed their
Yeah, they
vows.
weren't singing enough and dancing enough.
Yes, that's what it
And
was.
then after all those pictures, they stuck them in a trailer all together, and they went out and hit the town.
Yes.
I just don't understand. People should have to have some kind of a test or a license or a mental exam or something before they have kids.
I agree.
I know.
You have to take a test to drive a car. You have to go through something to own a gun. Like, there's all these things but to have a kid, you could just do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yes, and sterilize them
Mm-hmm.
after they've
Yes.
done the system like this over and over and over and over, and causing these kids grief.
It's real trauma that these kids are going through, and if it's
Yes.
not stopped and they're not helped with a lot of therapy, they're gonna repeat it,
Yes.
or they're gonna end up committing suicide, or
Yes.
this is real trauma.
And then they're going to grow up and come out in society. And if
Yes.
they're like you said,
Yes.
Lori, treated, then what are they going to come out in society and do? Like they're going to perpetuate like a cycle.
Yes,
This is the next
exactly.
generation of Americans.
Right.
Yep.
It's kind of scary to think about it, really.
Yes, it is.
These are the people that's supposed to be taking care of us when we're old.
I've been watching this thing. Yeah, right. I've been watching this thing called White Underbelly, and this man
I love that. Love that guy.
And you talk to these.
It's called Soft White Underbelly, I think it is.
Is it
it's on YouTube, Robin?
YouTube.
Okay.
And he does like he'll talk to prostitutes and drug addicts. He did a whole thing of the Appalachians.
Yeah.
He says that he thinks Appalachian people are more poor than the people on Skid Row in LA. But
Oh, I'm sure.
to listen to them. I'm sorry, what?
I said I'm sure some of them are. I've seen it. I live in
Yeah.
it, you know.
Yeah, yeah. To listen to their stories though, you're like, oh, now I know why she's a drug addict, or now I know, you can see the story unfold, and the same story. They weren't loved, they were abused, sexually abused. Even the Appalachians aren't too off. There are some
No,
awesome people they're poor, they're the coal miners and stuff, and some of them are
absolutely.
just like, I couldn't believe I actually got to like meet somebody like that, like, even though there was phone that I met them through, but they're
Right.
just some awesome people. And then the ones that got
Absolutely.
into drugs, they're selling their kids, they're eh, they're in meth, any of those that got in meth, they're prostituting out their own children. They're really in a bad way. But yeah,
I just
I
what
love
goes through
watching that.
someone's mind. What goes through a person's mind that says, you know what, I gotta sell my kid to get that next fix. Like, what is that mental? Like,
Right.
what is that
It's
thought
the
process?
brain saying I've got to have this or else.
Well, I
It's
understand. I know. Yes, I know that part of it. But I mean, like,
mhm.
I just want to know. Like, it's sick, but I want to be in that head. Like, I want to
Right.
know.
I mean,
No, you don't. No.
yeah,
I see. I
yeah.
told you I worked at a psych hospital, so this is like part of the problem here.
Oh,
It's just,
look at this. KW says, I have kids in juvenile detention. Ask me if I would adopt them.
oh,
God bless you,
Mm.
KW. God bless you.
It's
I have another.
heartbreaking, man.
I have another story that just brought that up when that comment. Okay, so after my granddaughter went back, I really wanted to be like, I had talked to the case manager, and she was behind me on this and everything. That I wanted to be like an emergency foster, like when they remove, CPS comes in and does that quick removal, like maybe an overnight or 2-day thing when they remove a child. So I was looking into that to be a foster parent for that emergency type thing. And because I would qualify across the board, except because of my disability, and I receive assistance on food stamps, they wouldn't allow me. However, I could have raised my granddaughter until she was the age of 18. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. What is wrong with this system? You told me I was fit, and are you willing, and we give you the authority and you can do this, but because now you want to help us, but because you get food stamps you can't.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was very it's hard to understand the
Well,
But
it's
look
system
how
is
many
impossible to
parents.
understand.
I mean, I ran the calls of parents being on, the boyfriend's not in the house, or he comes over, does his thing, and then leaves, so they can draw more money from welfare, and they have like 6 kids running around in the front yard with diapers on, you know, and they can have more because the more they have, the more money they get. And they spend it on, doing their hair and their nails. They spend it on themselves.
Hmm.
They're not spending. It's
I've
sad.
watched some shows on the Appalachians. These yeah, they are very interesting. I was a total black sheep growing up here. It's so funny. Um, there's some wonderful people here. Wonderful. There's wonderful
I
people everywhere, and there's crappy
my
people
granddaughter
everywhere.
therapy. I made sure my granddaughter, I put her in private school. These things aren't cheap. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I did. I made sure, like, I protected this child. I, I would throw my life in front of I would throw my life in front of any child to protect them.
Hmm.
And it's just like, you know, I don't understand these people.
I don't either. Oh,
Lori,
yeah, that's on the soft white underbelly.
soft white
The
underbelly. I'd write that.
Whittaker. It's the Whittaker family. Now, Tara, that is not very common here. Even just want to make that clear. Yeah, it's like, I think it's called, yeah, just type in underbelly YouTube. And it's just an amazing.
I keep paper and pen by my bed. I write everything down.
I do too. I keep notes constantly. Oh, guys, can you get the bot out of here? Is Karen in here? Yeah, they're seriously inbred. You remember whenever, like, the guy interviewing who has the channel, he's wanting to know where one of the persons is that used to live there in the family, one of the family members, and they start barking and they point over in that direction, and it's that like he thinks he's telling him, oh well, we buried, my brother, sister, uncle, whatever, uh on the other side of the road. Yeah, they literally bark, and they sound so real. It's almost like a parrot.
They bark.
They bark. Oh yeah.
The people.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And it's like almost like a parrot imitating, how they literally sound exactly like the person or the dog or the cat or whatever. Exactly the same. Yes. There's one that has much better English, if you will, than the other one, and I think that's the one that kind of holds the fort down. Karen, if you can come up, we'd love to hear an update.
Is Karen in the house?
Yes. Or if
Hi, Karen.
anybody wants to come up, you're welcome to come up.
So they're based. Well, I mean, I know that Appalachians are not well educated at all.
Sure.
So
It's getting better, but here comes Karen.
and I don't mean that a negative way.
No.
Hey, Karen.
Hi.
Hey, Karen.
I'm going to drop down. My mic keeps playing up.
I'm exhausted.
What's that?
I said I'm exhausted.
You sound exhausted.
I'm just gonna...
I'm in the hotel.
Drop it down, Tina.
I just wanted to check in and let everybody know. Oh, where are you? Sorry. He's to check in to see if he has a blood infection, and that's going to take 2 to 3 days, and hopefully get his port in. If he has an infection in his blood, then they have to keep him on IV antibiotics. So we found out his vascular surgeon back in 2019 screwed his whole leg up, and that's why he formed all these blood clots. But that's the story is so long it would take forever for me to explain it.
So he's got. Does he have infection?
They're not quite sure. The oncologist said his white blood cell count is up because of his cancer.
Yes.
And IT doctor doesn't want to put the port in because he believes he has an infection. So they're going back and forth. And the infectious disease doctor came in and wants to do a blood culture to rule it out because he wants the oncologist
to see whether it's the cancer or infection that's causing the. Gotcha.
Yeah. So that takes 2 to 3 days, and they only took the culture at 5 o'clock tonight.
Okay.
So either Wednesday or Thursday we'll know, and hopefully they'll get the port in while he's on the heparin, because they can stop the heparin for a very short time.
Yeah.
And then because if he's on the The blood thinners, they have to stop it for 2 to 3 days, and he'll start blowing clots, and
Yeah.
we can't have that.
No.
So, but they tried to send him home today, and I kind of lost it and said, "You're not dismissing him to send him home on blood thinners to stop it because he'll blow clots and kill him." So
Right.
it's like you have to be an advocate because you got 5 different teams up there, and it's very exhausting. And then I had his sister tell me off last night. I told her off, and it's just this is
Why?
not the.
No, I don't want to say why, but because I don't want you to put your
Oh,
information
it was
out
over
there.
something stupid. I was
Oh,
explaining what happened, and she told me to shut my mouth and relax because I'm upsetting her brother. And her brother's the one that told me to send out the mass text of what was going on. And
I'm married to him. I'm
yeah,
married to the brother.
and
not to the brother, but I'm married
she,
to your brother.
yes, she's see you next Tuesday, and she has no idea I can be the biggest see you next Tuesday, and I
Mhm.
know it. But I was really nice. I was really
Right.
nice. And then my husband called her up and he says to her, "Linda," he said, "please get along." And he said, "Please get along, blah, blah, blah." He said, "Don't do this. I'm really sick, da, 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 da." And she says to him, "Well, no." She said, "If you want to talk to me, you need to call me." This man is on his deathbed. And she said, "Well, she went on about the text." And he said, "No, she didn't." He goes, "I told her what to say." He said, "She read the text back to me." Do you say this to your brother on his deathbed?
Oh my God, no. That's the last thing she should be worried about.
Yeah.
That's
So
awful, Karen. I'm sorry.
I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. So whatever. She's got to live with herself, not me. You know?
That's
She told me to go
insanity.
to hell and everything. She's lucky I didn't go off on her. She has no idea what I'm capable of saying and doing. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't have time for this right now. I really don't. And if this is what she wants to do, and he is so upset, he's like, "I cannot believe I asked her to just not do this right now." She won't. She's like, "No." She is terrible, terrible,
Uh-huh.
and whatever, you know. And he's been told horrible things, and the doctors explained to him today, which is I felt so bad. They said with everything going on and everything, they said this is like called the perfect storm. This is something that they don't, everything that possibly can go wrong is going wrong, and what they call the perfect storm. So.
Mm-hmm. How is he? Is he eating? Does he feel like eating?
No, I think it's total depression.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to the doctor about maybe giving him some meds for some depression? It's very common
Yeah, they
whenever
did.
someone, we did my father-in-law, and he was
Yeah.
really against it until then, but he took it, and I think it helped. I mean, take the edge off. You're muted. You're muted,
Going
Karen.
in and out.
Okay.
Oh. Wait.
You're good now.
But yeah, he's having a tough time, but it takes a little while for the medication to work for the
Oh,
depression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe they can give him something for anxiety for now.
Yeah, they've given him that. They've been giving him that. Mm-hmm.
Good.
I think it's his one sister just threw him for a loop. He's one of 9 children. So he's just his one sister's just being a jerk, So she's the oldest one, and she might be having a hard time with everything. And I just think that she's making it about her right now, or she thinks she should be I don't know what's going on with her,
Is she older or younger?
She's the oldest. She's the oldest one. And then it's
and the bossy one.
He's like the 4th. She's the oldest. He's the fourth one born.
Mhm.
You know. So. hmm And he was always the go-to guy for everything, for whatever
The
reason.
fixer. The
Yep.
fixer of the family. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So I
I'm
don't
so
know.
sorry.
I mean, I don't know what's going on. She could just be very angry. I don't know what it is. And them two were the closest, so I don't know what. She's just having a meltdown. I guess. I think she'll get
Yeah,
over it.
she will. I'm sure.
Yeah. She just angry too. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody
Um,
handles things differently. So
yeah, people
I'm
when
just
people
I don't feel anymore. I'm just numb. You know.
yeah,
So
people can get, people are stressed out and you don't know what to do in these times and you just have to roll with it, the best you can and try to
yeah.
keep some of your sanity.
Mhm. Oh, I thought I lost it the other day. I was on his phone with his one sister that I used to work with, way before I started dating her brother. I could not believe what happened to me. I was crying so bad. I collapsed in the parking lot. And I was sitting in the middle of the parking lot, hysterical crying, that some lady came over and she was trying to help me up. And I just said to her, "Could you just leave me here?" I could not believe I did that. I
God,
literally was sitting
Karen.
in the middle of the parking lot, hysterical crying. I lost it. I don't know what happened. I just completely lost it. I don't know how long I was sitting there. It could have been
Uncontrollable.
a minute. Uncontrollable. Just lost it. And this
Mm,
poor lady was just rubbing my back. I don't know who she was. I just
oh,
remember just sitting in the middle of the parking lot, just hysterical. I must have looked like a crazy lady. I don't know. I don't know what
yeah,
happened. I
you
just
didn't.
lost control of myself. Just like a blubbering idiot.
You probably felt better
And
afterwards, though.
oh, you did, but I can imagine what I
Sometimes you
must
need a
have
good
looked like. They
cry.
probably thought, yeah, they probably wanted to put me in a straight jacket and bring me in the hospital. But
Aw.
I don't know what happened. I was just in the parking lot sitting on the ground, hysterical crying.
You was on the
And
phone? Is that
after
what
that, I
happened?
remember thinking, yeah, I was on the phone and I just lost it. And I just remember going on my knees and I was in the middle of the parking lot crying. And I thought to myself afterwards, oh dear Lord, what did I look like? But I
Oh,
just,
who cares
everything
what you
just
look
hit me
like?
and
It's
I
not
just
about what
lost
you
it,
look like.
you know,
It's you
You're going
gotta
through a lot,
you know,
right?
yeah, exactly. Give yourself a break.
Yeah.
I, a complete mess. I was a mess, you know,
Those people
just
are
a complete mess. And I'm
strangers.
like, oh dear Lord. Yeah, I know, but still, I embarrassed myself, you know, sitting in the middle of a parking lot of the hospital. Oh my
But
Lord.
you're
If
but you're
anybody
alone
has,
to go through all this. And that nice lady, you said she was rubbing your back?
yeah,
That's really nice. She was a good
Yeah, right.
person,
yes,
apparently.
she
There's
was.
some people out there
Yeah,
with compassion.
I know. I didn't get her name, nothing. I just was like, oh my God. If somebody got a TikTok of that and put it on, I can imagine what I look like.
Oh,
I just,
She might have been a
I,
guardian
I don't know what
angel.
happened. I just snapped, I guess. hmm You know, but it's not
Don't
been
ever be
easy
a
going through it by myself. And and then my daughter, she's not feeling good. And it's like, I can't be with her and helping her and being here. I'm just, now I'm like to the point of total exhaustion and just feeling numb. Like I feel, you know.
yeah.
And then like the infectious disease doctor tonight, he walked over and he hugged me. And I'm like, wow, a
That's
oh
doctor
wow.
hugging
nice.
somebody,
That's
you know.
really good. That's really
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
good. You
yeah, it
like to
was.
see humanity in your
Yeah,
doctor. You know what I mean?
yeah. And he
right.
said he goes, yeah. And he said, he knows there's other people that have, like a husband or a daughter or a wife and a son, whoever, that are going through that, but you don't hear of it. That two major people in your life have cancer at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, and he said, you definitely have a full plate. I said, yeah, I do.
I can't even imagine, Karen. That's awful.
But I'm going to jump down because it is, you know, and I'm telling you, it's got to be hard enough to go through with one person, never mind two. And I just like, I'm angry. Like I'm mad at God, and I know that's part of a stage too. And I'm just, I don't even know how to explain it anymore. I really don't.
Oh, I wish I could just give you a hug.
I know I'll get through it. I really am a strong person, but right now I don't feel strong. And it's just overwhelming. And
Yeah,
I just, you know, I need sleep. I really do need sleep. And I'm not sleeping. Even though I'm sleeping, but I'm not sleeping. You know. But what I'm going to do is welcome on, and I never know. I so appreciate of their prayers.
you're breaking up.
It's going in and out.
Yeah.
And but it, you know, I'm gonna giving you so much information, breaking up. Okay, so, but thank you guys.
Thank you.
Are you there?
We're praying.
Thank you.
Cassie, thank
have
you.
a
Hold on, Karen. Cassie said, reminds me of a song, Maybe There's an Angel.
have a good night.
Beautiful video.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down. Cassie said, reminds me of a song, Maybe There's an Angel. Beautiful video.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Play
Thank
it. Maybe
you.
There's an Angel.
Thank
you. Bye, honey.
Love
We're
you,
keeping in our
Karen.
prayers.
Yeah.
Praying for you and Michael.
Yes. It's I mean, last year my
Just have a good night.
You too,
Okay.
honey.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, honey.
Last year, we had last year and the year before and the year before, my father-in-law and my mother-in-law had cancer at the same time, diagnosed 2 weeks apart.
Oh, wow.
So, and
That's all.
the 22nd, which is my husband's birthday.
My grandson's birthday.
That's what I think you told me that the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, I said the other day. Yep.
My father-in-law died on my husband's birthday.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, but my mother-in-law, she's doing excellent, thank God. But it's really difficult, you know. You're taking them to so many doctor's appointments, treatments, radiation, chemo, you know, specialists. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. So is your mother-in-law? She's not cancer-free?
Thank the good Lord, yes. Thank God. Thank God, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
amazing.
guys, I'm going to jump off of here. I've got to finish homework with these hoodlums before 10 o'clock, before they go to bed. So we got to do some homework and stuff. I'm sorry, Dawn. My dad died on 29. I understand that pain. Just yeah.
Aww,
So we're going to be celebrating my husband's birthday on the 23rd rather than his regular birthday. So we're going to do it the day after.
Yeah, that's got to be, like, that's got to be tough. Like,
yeah.
What do I do? Yeah, that's got to be a tough spot.
Yeah. In my husband's culture, also the son, the oldest son, they kind of carry the family.
Yep.
and he's the oldest son. And, I just told him this is just, I call him Pawpaw. I said, this is just Pawpaw's way of saying it's yours now, so
Yeah.
that's the way you got to
All right.
look at it. You got to look at the glass half full. Don't look at it half empty. We all do sometimes, but try to keep it at least half full. And when it's not
Absolutely.
half full, you got to refill. You got to take time to refill it.
You're
So
absolutely right.
that's right. All we
Well,
have
thank
in life
you
is each
so
other.
much for your time. I do
What's that?
appreciate it.
What's
I
that,
said thank
Robin?
you for letting me come up and be a part of your panel. I
Oh,
appreciate
of
it.
course. We love having you, Robin. You absolutely a sweetheart. Happy
Oh,
Valentine's Day to each of you guys. Thank you so much for being here and putting up with me. I appreciate it. Thank you all so much. Um, hey, Rebecca. Hey, Precious Chaos. Good to see you. Hey, Debbie. Thank you. I see you. You're such a great mod, such a great human being, too. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. If somebody goes live in a little bit, I'm sure I'll mosey my way in.
happy Valentine's Day, everyone,
Happy
and have a good
Valentine's
night.
Day.
Love you all.
Yes. All right. Talk to you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.